Lassie must be missing.
Hey, Nick Shirley, make any good fraud busts lately?
Good question, Thomas. I'm actually working on one right now. Matter of fact, most of the fraudsters are here in this room. Are you jealous that I've done more for America in one day than you have in your whole career?
Oh, fuck this, guys. I'm out of here. Hey, guys, help me out. Oh, shit.
What's up, everybody? That seemed funnier when I watched it earlier. I guess it wasn't as good as I thought it was. But what's up, everybody? So great to see everybody here tonight. There's Bella sleeping. Jonathan's here. What's up? Yar, what's up, B-Hops? How you doing? Karen, oh, good to see you. My first disappeared? I don't know what that means. Hey, Ruby King, rated the stream. Thanks, Ruby King. Over there on the Rumble. Pat Hacker, good to see you. Regine, how you doing? Kofi, the Whatever Podcast is wild. Brian is calling one of the girls a traitor to the U.S. I think it's funny. I like that show. It's a good show. I like it. Occasionally. We are ready for the news. Thank you. Shadowwings, what's up? Roselle Jam's here too. How you doing? We had 5 jewels for a treat. Well, thank you so much. Just thank you. But I can't really track the jewels like that because each jewel is like 1 penny. So, but thank you. I greatly appreciate it. Is hello gang should be starting momentarily. Is hey gang, yeah, what's up? Essie Gatlin, what's up? How's it going? Derek, how you doing? Trooper, what's up? Test. Is it 6 p.m. yet? Well, 6 p.m. somewhere. Bella looks so cute. Yeah. Wow. Oh, sorry. Whoa. Pet Detective is good. The AI version needs work. Wow. What's up? How you doing? Thanks for being here. Too many traders enjoy living in the U.S. want to turn us into something else. They do. They truly do. How's it going? So yeah. So it's 9 o'clock. We're gonna get the show started right now. Got a bunch of news stories for you guys. I hope everyone's ready. And as always, there is a goal, as there is every night with the show. The show is going to be about 2 hours long, somewhere between 2.5 hours, somewhere there, unless we hit the goal. And the goal is $100 in total across all platforms, YouTube Super Chats, Rumble Rants, becoming a member, or gifting memberships on YouTube, Rumble, Kick, Twitch, along with Locals, and Locals coins and Cash App, PayPal, Coffee, Ko-Fi, and Super Tips. We add it all up. When we hit 100, we add an extra hour. And for each additional $100 in total that comes in, we add another additional hour to the show. So the show could be as long as you want it to be. It could be 2 hours, 3 hours, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. You name it, 24 hours at some point, maybe. And we keep it going. And that's an added bonus. When we hit $50, we activate Bellavision for the evening. Unless somebody is so generous that they donate $25 or greater in total across something. It could be 5 memberships. It could be, $25 on a Cash App, a Rumble Rant, a PayPal, a Super Tip, a Super Chat. And it doesn't have to be at once. If I see one person does like, say 2 memberships and $15, that would be it. Or, whatever. I track it. I'll track it. So, and then we would activate Bellavision automatically. Greetings, Hank. Thanks for being here. We, the people, hold the authority to arrest trolls, tyrants, and any other violators of people's rights. Well, I hope so. I do. Yeah, so that's where we're at. That's the deal. Well, I don't know why I have like heartburn right now. Had a nice dinner. Man, it's coming up on me. My former employer of the MTA had me held and brought up on discipline charge for throwing druggies lighting up on the subway. Well, that's horrible. That's horrible. So here we go. The first news story of the evening is Iran offers a bounty of more than $38,000 for killing or capturing U.S. soldiers. Say, what? That's a lot of money. Considering that Iran, they're like all this inflation and stuff happened in Iran. So, yeah, let's, we see, so Trump should offer $50,000 for the death of the IRGC. That would be a way to go with it, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? That would be a way to go with it. Hold on 1 second. Oh. Yeah, I think I forgot to take my stomach pill. It's bothering me. I had one of those Rouse, Rouse, I think it's called Rouse, RAO's dinners. Was it bolognese, rigatoni bolognese? Man, that's coming up on me. Maybe 100,000 for death of mullahs. Yeah, I think Trump will be lighting up Iran tomorrow. It's possible. Did they do anything tonight? I haven't seen anything. But then again, I wasn't really watching the news the last couple hours. I've been getting ready for the show, doing stuff with my grandkids and hanging out. So, or because of this, maybe. So, Iran's military announced on August 16th that it was offering a bounty equivalent to the U.S. of $30,000, whatever S-38-38-8 is, for killing or capturing U.S. soldiers, with the reward doubled if carried out by a woman. So if a woman does it, they'll double it. Wow. Clock runs out at midnight EST, I'm pretty sure. Oh, maybe. Shout out Cynic. Yeah. Hola, amigos. Yes. Oh, why did we get raided? Did we get a raid from the Cynic crew? They said they were going to do it. And they did, right? Yep, they did. Thank you for coming over, everybody. Please hit like. Please subscribe to the channel. It's greatly appreciated. For more Iran kablamos. Oh, kablamos. Well, that'll work. That'll work. Army Chief Amir Hatami said the plan has been drawn up following a large number of requests to participate in financial support, according to the IRNA state news agency. Iran doesn't care about their own people, though. No, they don't. They don't. So there has been no known deployment of U.S. ground forces in Iran during the Middle East war, with the exception of a rescue mission for the downed American pilot. Hatami did not provide any details on where or when the killing or captured U.S. soldiers was expected to take place. I did see a story yesterday. We didn't really get into it. We didn't make it there last night about suppose Iran was claiming Qatar captured 3 Iranian pilots, but then Qatar was claiming that they defected or something. I don't know. We'll have to maybe I'll look for it tonight, see if I can find it. Anyone who kills or captures or hands over an invading American military personnel will receive an award equivalent to US $30,000. Yeah, $30,000 for a man soldier, $60,000 for a woman soldier. Yeah. I wonder why they doubled it for a woman. That's crazy. Yeah. 5 billion tomans from the Islamic Republic Iran's army. 5 billion. So 30,000 American is 5 billion Iranian tomans. Using an informal equivalent to 10,000 Iranian rials, 1 Singapore cent. So 10,000 Iranian rials is 1 Singapore cent. Starting to read like a Tom Clancy novel. It is, isn't it? Which one would you say this is like? Would you say this is like executive orders, or would you say this is more what was the Teeth of the Tiger? Which one? The DOD was billions in toys. Let them play with them. Fuck Iran. They've been weirdos since the 70s. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Coming down to the same tact as Hamas did towards their end, kidnapping. Yeah, probably, Hank. Probably. Courageous Iranian women who carry out such an action receive double the reward. Hatami repeated Iran's call for the U.S. to leave the Middle East and said they no longer have permission to enter the Persian Gulf, the Gulf of Oman, or the Strait of Hormuz. We don't need your permission. We go where the fuck we want to go. And if you got a problem with that, we'll blow your ass up. That's how that works. We don't spend trillions of dollars on defense to have, thoughts on launching Liam into Iran. Well, that would be a great idea. I think Liam could go in there and he'd straighten it all out. He'd have them all, he'd be running the place. No time, He said he's had no problem taking on 5 men at a time. So, maybe him in the new what's his name, the Comey, the new guy, the new Gayatollah, the Supreme Burrito. Him and Liam could be best buds. Depends on how Trump plays this. So right now, I just have to go with the analyst Jack Ryan. That's what I'm saying. I think those sailors on the Lincoln are going to be a lot less bored tomorrow. I think the Lincoln's on its way back. I'm pretty sure the Lincoln is on its way back. There's another ship on its way there. World War III was always meant to start in the Middle East. Yeah, Supreme Burrito. Yeah. He's got to be careful or Liam might eat him. So the war between Tehran and Washington began on February 28th after the U.S., joined by Israel, attacked Iran. Just over a month into the war, the U.S. launched a massive rescue operation to retrieve a weapons systems officer and an F-15 jet, involving around 200 U.S. ground troops and more than 170 aircraft racing to find the airmen ahead of Iranian forces. So during the rescue, Iranian troops damaged an A-10 ground attack aircraft. It was ditched over friendly territory. The U.S. also reportedly abandoned and destroyed aircraft used during the mission, including a C-130 transport plane. That was expensive. What's up, Eastwood Farms? Great to see you. The George Washington. Yeah, the G-Dub's on its way there. Better get some U.S. cash or buy a truck for their paper money. Yeah, something. We need to go energy independent, and let the Middle East go back to being camel breeders and tents. Not a bad idea. I mean, it can happen. Send Batman and Superman. Send them both. That's right. Yeah, ditching an A-10, that had been one hell of a beating. Yeah, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that was a shoulder-fired, missile that got him. That all of a sudden they showed up with. It was right after a shipment came in from China. They had some, basically, Chinese stingers, Temu stingers. All the non-skid wore off the deck of the Lincoln. Oh. Days before the pilot of the F-15 was rescued by a helicopter crew in a smaller operation, the war was later paused by an April ceasefire after nearly 40 days of fighting. Well, 40 days and 40 nights, yes, man pads, yes, as opposed to the pads that women wear. Iran and United States have since traded fire sporadically, with fighting mainly centered on southern Iran around the Strait of Hormuz. New paint sheet needed on ship. Hard to do while watching 6. Yeah, definitely. A-10s make crotch warm. Yeah, it's a good... those planes get her done. Indirect contact between the two sides via mediators has continued with little sign of diplomatic breakthrough. Iran has also set out a list of demands for reopening the strait, including war damages. There's still ships going through the strait, and as of right now, oil is still at $82 a barrel. So it needs to get down to 70 or under 70 for it to be normal pricings, but this is not where it would be if the straits were shut down. It wouldn't be $82. More trash talk from Iran. That's all they got. Yeah. A number of U.S. military personnel killed since the start of the war. The number stands at 17. The most recent deaths in July. They have all been killed outside of Iran in countries including Jordan and Iraq. Captain says, I just got gas today in Minneapolis. It was $4.19 a gallon. Wow. I just got gas yesterday in Florida, and it was $3.87 for regular. So, I mean, what's up, Kelly J? How you doing? Who needs tractors in Iran? Tractor pulls with camels. Oh, man. There you go. Hey, Kelly, what's up? So, hope you're doing well and had a great weekend. Well, it's been pretty good. It's been pretty good. Been pretty good. So, same thing over here from Canadian television. Says Iran offers a $30,000 bounty. So, that's pretty much it. So anyone who kills or captures them are going to pay. So Iran here. This is the story right here. What do you know? I got it right here. So Iran says it's Qatar is holding pilots. Israeli strike kills 11 in Lebanon and other Middle East news. Iran said Qatar was holding 3 of its pilots who had been missing since March. So I think they're it's $389 in upstate New York. Well, that's not bad, Pet Rescue. That's good. Have you seen Iran demanding its pilots back? It's just PR spin at this point. Well, they might have defected. Like if they've been gone since March, they defected. I mean, the Emirates accused Iran of attacking one of its vessels in the Strait. Houthis again struck a Red Sea port in Yemen. Wait a minute. Iran-backed Houthis again struck a Red Sea port in Yemen. Aren't the Houthis in Yemen? Why would they strike a port in Yemen? Maybe the coldest war would fit, despite Jack Ryan being president by this book. Okay. I joke about camel breeders. I know people in Iran just want the same freedoms and things that we have. There's an artist over there trying to feed his family. Yeah. Yeah, no, I know. I mean, but they're going to have to, Matt, they're going to have to fight. They're going to have to stand up. They're going to have to free themselves. We can't do it for them. That's the thing. We can help a little bit, but they're going to have to do the heavy lifting. In southern Lebanon, 11 people were killed in Israeli airstrikes. Here's a look at the latest developments in the war. Qatar Armed Forces captured and were holding 3 pilots who went missing in March when their jets were downed. The Missing Persons Committee of Iran's Armed Forces General Staff says, until now, Tehran had said it had no information about their fate. This is the first known case in the war where Iran has said a regional country is holding its fighters. March 2nd, in the opening days of the war, said its air forces shot down 2 Iranian bombers as Tehran lashed out against regional countries hosting U.S. military bases. I can't believe they put planes in the sky. What were they thinking? Our gas is $3.25 where I live in South Texas. Well, that's not a bad. I mean, $3.25 is where it's been. Like that's like normal pricing these days. Jack Ryan is overexposed. I want more John Clark stuff. Mr. Clark is an awesome character, man. Like No Remorse. Still, I think one of Tom Clancy's best books. No Remorse. The Rainbow Six books are pretty good too, but No Remorse is it's good. Like they totally destroyed that with the series on Amazon with what's his name with Michael B. Clark or whatever, Michael B. Jordan playing Clark. Not good. So Saturday's statements allege that Qatar has violated the men's rights by not allowing the prisoners to meet or communicate with their families or with Iranian officials. Iran asked the president of the International Red Cross, Mirjana Sablacic-Egger, for help in speaking with the pilots. And the letter said a 4th pilot was killed while on a mission targeting an enemy military base in Qatar. Yeah, No Remorse was awesome. The show sucked. Yeah, the show sucked. So Qatar hasn't said anything. So a tanker was attacked in the Strait. No injuries on Friday evening attack, the agency reported. Yeah, so that's it. So they put out a bounty on our guys. And I said, courageous women offered double 30,000 bounty. Same thing from, from the French Canadians. Iran is offering a $30,000 reward. All right. So that's it with that. We'll keep an eye on this. Maybe Trump will say like he's had enough and he'll actually get back to taking care of. The show had a female SEAL commander within the next 5 years. Might as well have had a dragon on the show too. Sorry, ladies, but that shit ain't happening. Yeah. Well, and yeah, they made the I'm sorry, now his name is escaping me. The guy that Mufasa played in the movies Patriot Games and Clear and Present Danger. Not Admiral. The guy that brought him into the CIA. I can't think of his name. Damn it, it's escaping me. But anyway, they made him. He actually, the same guy played him in Hunt for Red October too, but they made him a woman in the No Remorse. It's weird. What are you doing? Yeah, no ladies on the teams. So. Anyway, so let's get to this next story. It turns out that James Comey's in a little bit of trouble because his wife, right before he made the post saying 8647, his wife had texted him telling him, Greer, Admiral Greer. Yeah, they made Admiral Greer a female in the series, a female woman in the, is that the new, maybe I'm, yeah, it's in the new one, basically the one involving the one with the guy Jim from The Office and the one with Michael B. Jordan. It's the same woman playing Greer, and she's leading a SEAL team or something. It's weird. So Comey's wife texted him the meaning of 86 minutes before his 8647 beach stunt. He's kind of busted. We don't deserve to be let off the hook. Nope, you don't. Insult the man at the office, and Comey's ass knew that. That's right. Squirrel? What do you mean squirrel? No squirrels. Comey's wife texted him the meaning of 86 minutes before his 8647 beach stunt. Investigative reporter Paul Sperry posted a damning update to the Jim Comey 8647 beach story on Friday. According to Paul, there's evidence that Jim Comey's wife, Patricia, sent him a Google screenshot of a non-violent definition of the term 86 2 minutes before Comey posted his infamous rock picture. An FBI affidavit for a search warrant in James Comey's presidential threat case reveals his wife sent him a Google screenshot of a non-violent definition of the term 86 2 minutes before Comey posted the threat against the president, indicating some forethought his posting could be construed as a threat. Yeah, that she is busted. The Clancy squirrels. Oh, it's not really. We were talking about Iran. Clancy did a lot of writings on Iran. So if you want to really know what's going on, Tom Clancy wrote a book about him using planes and flying planes into the Capitol and the Pentagon and all that stuff. In the 80s, he wrote a book about that. He wrote a lot of books, a lot of stuff. Hey, no problem, Dan. Thanks for being here. Finch, what's up? Good to see you. An FBI affidavit for a search warrant in the James Comey presidential threat case reveals his wife sent him a Google screenshot of a definition of the term 86 2 minutes before posting it. Comey and his wife thought they were being cute. So Comey was also one of the leaders, along with Barack Obama and Brennan, who decided to run a coup against President Trump during his first term. James Comey posted his threatening 8647 Instagram post last May. Cool sheriff formation on the beach. 8647 is a threat to eliminate, kill the 47th president. Oh, do a DNA test on Brian Griner, What a Woman Is Not. Yeah. Busted. Dead of Honor. Yeah, Dead of Honor. Great book. Mm-hmm. The only thing it was the Japanese doing it, Dead of Honor. You read 3 of the Reacher books, they then got bored. Oh. Tom Clancy books, you won't get bored. I promise you. You want to read a good book, a book I read at least once a year, I reread. It's called The Bear and the Dragon. The Bear and the Dragon. It's fantastic. Fantastic. James Comey was indicted by a grand jury in the Eastern District. Count one is knowingly and willingly making a threat to take the life or inflict bodily harm on the President of the United States. North Carolina-based U.S. District Judge Louise Flanagan, a George W. Bush appointee, agreed to postpone the trial to October. Can we arrest Comey's wife too? Possibly. You can get her on conspiracy. Possibly. So that is the news update on that. And then the next story is a very, very interesting story. Border twist, trespass charges. The Justice Department's new opinion lets U.S. troops detain illegal aliens as trespassers near military zones along the southern border, edging military power deeper into civilian enforcement. It's not in civilian enforcement. The military is supposed to protect our borders. They're supposed to protect us from invasion. This is an invasion. No matter how you slice it, it's an invasion. And invasions have to be repelled by, by the military. It's just it. They have to be. You can't, you can't let them, get away with this stuff. You just can't. Hold on, where's it at? Hold on. Where is it? I know I had it somewhere. What did I do with it? I missed it? Did I? Oh, man. I'm going to have to look for it. Hold on. I'll have to look for it somewhere else. So the Justice Department lawyers said military personnel can detain. I had a tweet from some guy complaining about it, but I worked in a restaurant eons ago. 86 on the menu item was the kitchen was out of the item and to kill it off the menu for all that was worth. Yeah, no, that's what it means. That's, spin doctors, definitely. So federal judges threw out many similar trespass cases for lack of notice and proof. Thousands have faced add-on trespass counts since last year, expanding criminal exposure for migrants. They're illegal aliens. They're not migrants. Analysts warn this pushes border control further into the military-style authority without Congress acting. Congress doesn't have to act to tell the military to protect the border. That's the president's responsibility. Yeah, for decades, the National Guard was in charge of border security. Yeah, that's why when Eisenhower did Operation Wetback, and he went and got rid of like 800,000 illegal aliens in like less than 6 months, he used the National Guard in the military, and he got them all out. Justice Department Office of Legal Counsel said military personnel may arrest and briefly detain illegal aliens trespassing outside of national defense areas on the border. The opinion says this does not violate the Posse Comitatus Act because commanders have statutory power to protect defense sites and people on them. The policy ties authority to Defense Department control over defined areas. The opinion also frames the detentions as protective, not general policing of immigration law. It's always fear. I am here. Well, thanks for being here. The opinion arrives as the administration relies more on military-controlled zones to manage crossings. U.S. Marshals are constitutional. Yeah. Border security is not normal police powers. That's the border is protected by the military. That's the difference. Now we have too many bleeding hearts as well as Dems and Uniparty trying to keep these invaders inside our borders. Yeah, it's true. To start the terror, check out this couple. Oh my God. That does look very very upsetting is the words I will use. The government has designated strips as buffer areas near key infrastructure sites to deter smugglers and channel foot traffic. Supporters say this improves safety for service members and protects equipment. Critics argue this moves to the military space and that the executive branch can act fast with less oversight by Congress. Oh, well, cry more. Why the courts dismissed the earlier cases. What does posse comitatus means? It just means you can't deploy the military to do like normal police powers against U.S. citizens, without like an act of Congress. It's just some weird thing. It's not, it has nothing to do with this, though. Did anyone hear the FDA inspectors were pulled from Mexico due to danger, thus to contaminate less? Yes, that was reported. They were in Sinaloa. Let's just say at least 1 killed, 4 wounded in a Hartford shooting. Hartford, Connecticut? Wow. So a federal magistrate dismissed about 100 cases that charged migrants with trespassing in the newly formed military zones. The court said prosecutors did not prove the migrants had fair notice of the restricted area or understood the boundaries. Here's the thing. They're trespassing in the United States. They're trespassing in the United States. Who is this fucking magistrate? They didn't know they're not supposed to cross the border? The judge also flagged gaps in the signage and language access at the time of arrest. Those rulings forced a reset in how and where charges could stick. No problem. No problem, my guy. Since then, the administration pursued additional misdemeanor counts that accused migrants of trespassing on military property on top of illegal entry cases. The Texas Tribune reported at least 4,700 illegal aliens face such add-on charges. Good. Then they can't say they're not criminals, right? They didn't commit any crimes. Yeah, they did. They're trespassing in the U.S. That figure shows how prosecutors use trespass as a force multiplier to raise the legal risk and jail time, even as courts tested the limits of the approach. The new Justice Department opinion may seek to shore up the legal footing. Good. We need to shore up the legal footing. We need it shored up. Yeah. Meanwhile, in Sueta, the migrants are protesting the gall. Yeah. USD inspectors, not FDA, were temporarily pulled from Mexico. Yeah. Department of Agriculture. Yeah. Have you seen the picture circulating of the writing, I love Flock BB writing on a strata tanker? No, I haven't seen it. Illegal entry is a crime. It is. The literal Latin to English translation of posse comitatus is power of the country or force of the country. Yeah. Posse comitatus line in DOJ's rationale. The Posse Comitatus Act generally bars the Army and Air Force from enforcing domestic law without clear approval from Congress or the Constitution. Fun fact, too, for a long time, the Marines weren't considered part of Posse Comitatus because of the exact letter of the law. That's why there was a case, I want to say it was after World War II, but before Korea. It might have been after Korea, but sometime before Vietnam. There was while Alcatraz was still running, there was like a riot, a guard, like an escape thing. They tried to take over. So a couple, like 4 or 5 inmates did something and they captured some guards. They were trying to escape and get out and do stuff. And they sent in the Marines. And the Marines basically blew up a section of the prison to kill the people, like shot the shit out of it, threw grenades down through the roof and everything. You can look it up. So it happened. It's either the 50s or like the late 40s, early 50s it happened. The Marines went in, and I think Congress changed it after that because at that time, it didn't say Marines. It said Army, Air Force. That's all it said, the Army and Air Force. That's all it said. So they had to change it to the Marines. Mm-hmm. I think they changed it to include Marines. Maybe they didn't. Who knows? Legal analysts have long said direct detention of civilians by military risks crossing that line. The Justice Department opinion aims to fit within an exception. It argues that detaining trespassers tied to site protection serves a core military purpose, which differs from broad immigration policing. Do you think for one fucking second, if you as an American citizen tried to sneak onto a military base, that they're not going to fucking detain you and that it wouldn't be completely legal? I mean, what is this? It's like special fucking rules. Like, oh no, if you're an illegal alien, you can sneak on a military base and they can't do anything to you. Like, where are these people? What planet are these people from? Yeah. Posse comitatus refers to American citizens, not illegal aliens. I agree. Policy experts say border militarization is not only about troops on the ground. It often includes military-style hardware, surveillance tools, and legal carve-outs that expand authority in gray zones. Those changes can speed enforcement and shift power towards executive branch when Congress is gridlocked. Long-term concern is institutional. Temporary exceptions can harden into new norms that outlast the crisis to justify them. Oh, well, keep crying about it. I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That's right. Illegals are not citizens. That's right. They're not. They're not citizens. What it means for communities on both sides. Border towns want order, clear rules, and safe streets. Ranchers and residents near crossings face theft, property damage, and stress. The new opinion promises faster action when people cross into controlled areas. That may bring short-term relief by deterring activity near defense sites. But if signage, notice, and language access remain weak, courts could again reject cases, and locals will see little change beyond more uniforms and more confusion. What needs to happen is the magistrate judge that dismissed those charges needs to be fired. He's a magistrate judge. He's not confirmed by the Senate. So fire him. Oh, I saw it. Parents sue the California school. Yeah, they took kids on a school trip to a mosque and made them, had them pray and do all the stuff in the mosque. Really? Huh. For migrants, add-on trespassing charges stack on top of entry violations, raising the cost of a failed crossing. For service members, the opinion puts them closer to hands-on detention, which many commanders view as risky and outside their core mission. For the country, the move deepens a pattern. When Washington cannot agree, presidents use tools that sit just inside the lines. So if it's just inside the lines, that means it's legal. See how they word this like, oh, it's just inside the lines. Yeah, that would be legal then. Over time, both left and right worry that the lines move when no one in power fixes the root causes. What's the root cause? Stop. How do you stop it? You stop it by militarizing the border and stopping it. Hey, what's up, America First? Everyone, does the president need Congress's approval to declare a state of emergency and a martial law? If he declared martial law, then constitutionally he could use the military. Yes, he can. Yeah, that's an exception. The Insurrection Act, martial law, stuff like that. Yep. Hey, Neat Scholar, what's up? Great to see you. Thanks for being here. And then here, let's see. We got this nice story from CBS News. It says Justice Department expands military power to detain migrants accused of trespassing. Well, they are trespassing. I mean, can we all agree they're trespassing? I think we can all agree they're trespassing. The Department of Justice on Friday issued a legal opinion giving the U.S. military broader powers to detain illegal aliens. They keep calling them migrants. They're illegal aliens. It's no fun being an illegal alien.
Life along the border at the U.S.-Mexico border has dramatically changed in recent years. Illegal crossings skyrocketed during the Biden administration, but now they have fallen to a 55-year low. CBS News immigration correspondent Camila Montoya-Galvez joins us now to talk more about that. So, Camilo, you are on the U.S.-Mexico border with a firsthand look at how things have changed after the administration's immigration crackdown. I know in your reporting earlier on CBS Mornings, you spoke to someone who said that people aren't crossing because they're afraid. What have you seen?
That's right, Vlad. We have seen a dramatic change here at the U.S.-Mexico border under the second Trump administration. At the peak of the border crisis here in the Rio sector in Texas during the Biden administration in December of 2023, as many as 4,000 people were crossing this border behind us illegally across the Rio Grande, getting past the razor wire. We actually saw people, Vlad, cut themselves in the process of entering the country illegally because of, again, that razor wire set up by the state of Texas. But today, this morning, we saw the first group of migrants during this entire trip cross the U.S.-Mexico border illegally. 2 individuals, presumably from Mexico, they were quickly apprehended by Border Patrol. The agents just left and are now probably processing the 2 individuals for deportation. And that is the policy change that the head of Border Patrol's Del Rio sector says is the main catalyst for the dramatic drop in illegal migration flows here. That the Trump administration, for the most part, Vlad, is not releasing people into the U.S. or allowing them to request asylum. Instead, it is processing people for deportation quickly after they cross or holding them in detention. It truly is a seismic change here at the border, Vlad.
You also have an update on the story of a U.S. Army soldier's wife who's in ICE custody. He was told earlier this week she'd be released from federal custody, but now that is not going to happen. What do we know about what happened and what happens next?
Well, truly, it has been a demoralizing and difficult past 24 hours for Sergeant First Class Jose Serrano. He's also an Afghanistan war veteran. He called me yesterday, Vlad, telling me that he was really happy because he had been told that his wife, Daisy, would be released from ICE custody after more than a week in detention. She was arrested last week in El Paso after attending an immigration appointment. DHS says that she's in the country illegally and that she has a deportation order dating back to 2019. But a few hours later...
Wait, so if he's with an illegal alien, isn't he aiding and abetting? Isn't he breaking the law? Couldn't he be charged in the UCMJ for harboring an illegal alien? Just saying, right? I think so. Yeah, they cut themselves. Oh, well. Toss some salt on those wounds. That's right. How dare Texas put up some sharp fences? It's crazy, isn't it? Virginia State University shooting. Oh, didn't we talk? Is that more on it? I know we talked about it the other day. I know we did. So I don't understand it. I really don't. It's honorable discharge in prison. That's what I would think, right? So if any of us in the Army would that allow our wives to shoplift? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It does. It's, yeah. Why? That's what I'm saying. I don't see how this is a. I don't give a fuck about anybody that entered our country illegally. Yep, me neither. That's what I'm saying. He clearly knew she's an illegal alien. Hey, what's up, Celia? Great to see you.
He called me back saying that it turns out that ICE was instead processing her for deportation to Mexico, where she has no ties, because she cannot be legally deported to her native El Salvador because of a judge's order, rather. So she remains in ICE custody, facing deportation again to Mexico, a third country where she has no relatives, no ties, and the arrest of this military spouse.
Wait. How did she get into the U.S.? Did she come into the U.S. via Mexico? So she does have ties to Mexico. She came into the U.S. from Mexico. So she can go back to Mexico. What is going on here? She was in Mexico, then came into the U.S. Go back to Mexico.
Is again part of this crackdown on illegal immigration by the administration that they say is working, because you're not seeing a lot of people cross the border illegally.
Yeah, and I think
whatever. So, yeah, so whatever. So that's ridiculous. So that's good. So it's time we conclude the use of military personnel to arrest trespassers just outside of an NDA would not violate the Posse Comitatus Act, given the express statutory authorization and military purpose of the commander's traditional protective powers. Good. So yeah, so what they did is they got these new defense zones right here, El Centro, the Naval Air Facility in El Centro, U.S. Marine Corps Air Station in Yuma, Army Fort Huachuca, Fort Bliss, and this. But there's also the California NDA, the Yuma NDA, the Texas NDA, National Defense Area. So they have all these national defense areas basically to patrol them with the military, which is good. I thought they also had basically that the entire border was covered by the Roosevelt Reservation that they could do. So since the national defense areas encompass wide strips of land that might not appear to be part of a military base, the Defense Department in some areas has put up signs in both English and Spanish warning that the area is restricted and unauthorized entry is prohibited. Yeah, there's also signs saying you can't illegally enter the U.S. They know this. This is what's bullshit. They know they can't enter the U.S. So they began charging individuals. The Pentagon has made the U.S.-Mexican border its first mission during the initial days of President Trump's second term. So Border Patrol reported fewer than 240,000 migrant apprehensions along the southern border, down from 1.5 million and 2 million in 2024 and 2023. According to the agency, the numbers had fallen even more in fiscal year 2026. Only 81,000 apprehensions with 2 months left in the fiscal year. That's good news, though. I think so. I think that's good news. All right, let's get to this next story. We got this crazy lady in Minnesota that's running for Senate. She's a lieutenant governor. She's the one, protect trans kids and all this stuff. She's a crazy lady. And I will point out too that something very odd about her. There's something very odd about her that something very odd about her. Something very odd about her. And I'll show you in a second. All right. So here, let's listen to her talk.
I am not sad that it's gone. Columbus' legacy was setting in motion.
So she's talking about the Columbus statue. She's glad that the Columbus statue got torn down. All right. Glad that the Columbus statue got torn down.
Generations of violence, rape, and genocide against indigenous people who are already here when he arrived.
Oh.
We have this myth of a man that Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492. And now my daughter knows Columbus as the man who got lost and hurt people.
Oh, that's because your daughter
Placing a statue of a historical figure on the Minnesota State Capitol confers an honor to their legacy. There is no honor in the legacy of Christopher Columbus. To remove a statue or choose not to place one there in the first place is not an erasure of history, but a reckoning with it. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, this is this crazy lady, all right? She thinks the same person. She says Mount Rushmore is white supremacy and genocide. This is her. All right. And I'm wondering about her daughter. She's just a communist. They want to remove history because history has shown their ideas fail over and over again. That's what they do. That's what they do. I want to show you something about her. Right here she is talking to a crazy lady on, what's this crazy lady's name? Can't remember. Crazy lady. But look at her neck, all right? And this guy has this great comment. Is that a huge Adam's apple on Peggy or a tumor? Because she's got this giant bulge here on her neck. It's very weird. Very odd.
You have said that you want to rip ICE apart. Is that effectively calling to abolish ICE? Do you want to abolish ICE?
I think what we need is an immigration system, but we need an immigration system that, is grounded in public safety and that is grounded in dignity and making sure that we have a pathway to citizenship.
What about dignity for the American citizens that are already here? You said Columbus caused a bunch of problems for the people that were already here. All these fucking illegal aliens that are coming into the U.S. are killing, raping, and stealing from American citizens. So you're supporting genocide of the Americans by all these illegals that are coming in and killing us all and raping, stealing. You're supporting that. Just saying. She needs her thyroid check. She's in transition. Yeah. The natives weren't all peaceful. They're right. They weren't. They used to kill each other all the time.
Citizenship.
You have.
Yeah. And she wants them to have citizenship. Yeah. She wants them to have citizenship. Crazy Peggy Flanagan, Minnesota demon rat, cheered destruction of Christopher Columbus statue by the leftist mob. It's her glasses. It could be. Pegger Flanagan, yeah. She does have the Julia Roberts mouth once you see it, yeah. She's got that haircut that just screams, ugh, Karen. The left is lawless. If you don't understand that the United States is currently under assault by radical communists, you're not paying attention. Wild-eyed far-left communist Peggy Flanagan won her primary on Tuesday in Minnesota. She defeated a more centrist opponent to clinch the Democrat nomination for the U.S. Senate. She's as radical as they come. This America-hating leftist cheered the destruction of the Christopher Columbus statue by a violent mob. Yeah. I can say I'm sad the statue is gone. I'm not. I can't say I'm sad. I'm not. Yeah. She hates her country. Why would any sane person elect this destructive, angry woman? After the Columbus statue was torn down by far-left activist, Peggy Flanagan responded by emboldening it. I'm not sad it's gone. I want it to be gone. This was the lieutenant governor cheering on the destruction of monuments. What?
I am not sad.
Yeah, we saw that. So yeah, this is the lieutenant governor. For the record, a Native American group objected to Flanagan promoting violence. Yet, despite her radical views, Flanagan has a chance to win Minnesota if elections continue to enable fraud. It's crazy. Crazy. Really crazy. This is nuts, right? This is nuts. So we got to watch these crazy people. We got to make sure crazy people don't win. Got to make sure no communists win. People often don't know it's a long way to legal citizenship unless you are born and popped out here or paid $350,000. Yeah, it's crazy. Mm-hmm. Not a very good prophet, Manson wasn't. Hmm? So, 2 federal agencies routed taxpayer dollars to terror-linked charities. What? Read that again. 2 taxpayer-funded agencies, 2 federal agencies routed taxpayer dollars to terror-linked charities. Minnesota's gone. I didn't even vote in the primaries. Well, you got to vote. Follow the money. Yes. Follow the money. The Biden-Harris administration releases first ever national strategy to counter Islamophobia and anti-Arab hate, increase awareness and hatred and stuff like this, tackle discrimination. And he says they allocated close to $1 billion in funding across agencies as part of his anti-Islamophobia program, FEMA, DOJ, HUD, community outreach. $455 million, more than double the prior year's $305 million base appropriation. Additional funding secured in fiscal year 2024, $390 to $400 million, with tranches released, including $210 million in a second tranche. These are competitive grants available to eligible nonprofits at high risk of terrorist or other extremist attack. They are not exclusively earmarked for Muslim or Arab institutions. Really? So the Department of Justice hate crime related grants, over $100 million was awarded since 2021 to law enforcement prosecution agencies, community-based organizations, civil rights group for outreach investigations. It includes $30 million in one late announcement reference to strategy sheets, support for national incident-based reporting system. $500,000 available for partnerships. Broader agency, USDA cultural dietary accommodations. So, halal shit. Like they want halal stuff in the schools. They want this civil rights resource trainings, treasury de-risking strategy work. So they want to say it's not risky. There's stuff talking, like they got they're just discovered that they're trying to pass laws to force Sharia compliant lending in Minnesota. It's called the LEAD program, where they were supposed to pair risk youth with former gang members to keep them off the street. Instead, they paired them with active gang members. Yeah. We recruited them into the gangs. Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. Crazy. 2 federal agencies routed taxpayer dollars to terror-linked charities. Can we just deport the Durka-Durkas and be done with the headache? It would be nice. I'd like to. I vote yes. Proof of a prophet and their prophecies come true. If not, they're false prophets. There you go. 2 federal agencies gave taxpayer dollars to charities with ties to terrorism. The State Department worked with World Vision to distribute $2 billion in global health foreign assistance, even though an Israeli court convicted the nonprofit's Gaza affiliate operations manager of sending $50 million to Hamas in 2022. So the U.S. government money is going to Hamas. Yes, every government program does the opposite of what it says. Yeah, that's what they do. Thanks, Obama. Yeah. Thanks, Obama. Separately, the Health and Human Services provided $80 million to 14 organizations linked to terrorism and extremism. The Middle East Forum recently reported that 14 terror-linked and extremist organizations led by CARE, the unindicted co-conspirator in the 1993 World Trade Center bombings, collected nearly $80 million from HHS through the refugee resettlement, health, and mosque renovation grants. Wait a minute. Why the fuck is the U.S. government paying to renovate mosques? What the fuck is going on? Why are our tax dollars going to pay for mosques? That sounds like the government paying for religious institutions. That's like the opposite. Where's the left to be screaming and yelling about separation of church and state? I mean, they won't even let Christians pray in school anymore. They're setting up, places for Muslims to pray, giving them prayer rooms and rugs, buying them the rugs and all this shit. Now we're spending millions of dollars to renovate mosques for them. What the fuck is going on here? The Council on American Islamic Relations received the most of any Islamist group, $42 million in funding from HHS to provide legal and social services. Towns can't even have Christmas decorations. This is crazy. Spain records 19,000 additional registered unemployed people in July, of whom 15,000 were foreign nationals. Go figure. That socialism is going to work out great for them. All contributions and grants to CARE are fully reported, accounted for, and used strictly for intended purposes, subject to rigorous internal and external audit reporting. Oh, that's what the CARE told Just the News. He said, we always spend all the money on what we're supposed to. Remember that dude who shot the National Guardsman? He was from Afghanistan, here under some CIA relocation project. His handlers were some TDS billionaires. Yeah. The foot bath voodoo stations. Yeah, the voodoo, the hoodoo. That's what they go. And I smell doo-doo. CARE has a long history of ties to terrorism. The organization might not drop bombs, but it has a history with Hamas. It's accepted money from a Hamas front group and raised money for the same group after 9/11. So they were grazing money for Hamas after 9/11. Since 2009, CARE has included a statement on its website stating, "We unequivocally condemn all acts of terrorism, whether carried out by Al-Qaeda, the real IRA, FARC, Hamas, ETA, or any other group designated by the U.S. Department of State as a foreign terrorist organization." We need to call CARE a foreign terrorist organization. In 2004, CARE settled a lawsuit initiated while acknowledging that statements made by an anti-CARE group were accurate, including that CARE is a terrorist-supporting front organization that receives some money from terrorists, and that the organization has links to and was founded by Islamic terrorists. That's right. It was founded by Islamic terrorists. Yeah. I remember California didn't want to pay for maintenance on the missions where the Catholic Church set them up. Yeah. They said, "Oh, no, we're not going to pay for them. Turn them down. But we'll give money for mosques." They got plenty of money for mosques. My Republican governor and senator, both women, tried bring those Afghans to Iowa. Oh, that's what they like to do. I have a nice foot bath thing with a massager and bubbles. Dr. Teal's Epsis. Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's good stuff. Makes your feet feel good. Further, at least 7 board or staff members of CARE have been arrested, indicted, or pled guilty and convicted of terrorist charges or denied entry to the U.S. What's it say? Just got here. Did you mention Altamonte Springs, Florida, where $14 million bought a large office complex? They're trying to make it a Hindi temple? No, I didn't hear anything about that. Wow. CARE was also famously named as an unindicted co-conspirator by federal prosecutors in a criminal conspiracy to provide financial support to Hamas. This led to the FBI ending contacts with CARE out of concern for its terrorist ties. CARE did not respond to Just the News inquiry prior to press time. Other groups that received HHS funding include the Islamic Circle of North America, humanitarian wing, the ICNA Relief, which collected $10 million while representing the American branch of an Islamic group that has caused violence in South Asia. I'll go figure. The Muslim America Society Sacramento chapter received $90,000 to promote women's health literacy, even though MAS was called an overt arm of the Muslim Brotherhood in America by a federal appeals court. The Muslim Brotherhood is known for supporting female genital mutilation, a barbaric procedure supported by Muslim majority societies. Another organization, Dar al-Hiraj, received $340,000 in HHS subgrants to promote coronavirus vaccines. Well, they should all be in jail for supporting coronavirus vaccines. Dar Haraj is a mosque in Northern Virginia that helped 2 of the 9/11 hijackers find housing. So they helped hijackers. 5 of the organizations that received the funds from HHS were overseas group. Why would our HHS be given money to Altamonte Springs? Sorry, no problem. I got it because I smashed my toe and needed a way to keep it from getting infected, so I soaked my feet for 5 to 10 minutes twice a day. That's awesome. That's awesome. So they gave $14 million to these groups. One of them has links to Palestinian Islamic Jihad and a West African college with a history of homophobic attacks against its suspected gay students receives funds to study homosexual Muslim men with HIV. So they gave a college that attacks people who are gay money to study homosexual Muslim men with HIV. Lisa says, CARE members will get saved in Jesus. I heard a lot of them are leaving Islam for Christ. Well, I don't think they're allowed to do that. I think they get killed if they do that. They're considered like worse than anything else. Washington took the most vulnerable people on earth, refugees who fled the Taliban, and delivered them into the hands of the organization most likely to radicalize them. This is not compassion. It's recruitment pipeline built at the public expense, and everyone who signed these awards owns it. As a Jewish news syndicate reported, the Senate Finance Committee investigated World Vision in 2019 and found that the charity transferred $125,000 in USAID-backed grant to Islamic Relief, which the Treasury Department sanctioned for terrorism in 2004. Wow. Yes, why study them? It'll work itself out. Yeah, one thing will go. Makes no sense. It doesn't. They keep referring to COVID genetic experimental shot as a vaccine. Yeah, I don't know why they do that. I don't. So the Islamic Relief Agency, known as Islamic Africa Relief, along with 5 of its senior officials, had their accounts blocked as well as funds seized in the U.S. It is, but of them speaking about it in YouTube, when there's a large numbers, you can't attack everyone. At the same time, sanctions were issued. The Treasury Department reported that IARA's international offices provided direct financial support for Osama bin Laden and cooperated with al-Qaeda terrorist leader to raise and spend additional funds. They reportedly worked with an institution controlled by bin Laden that provided assistance to Taliban fighters. So the U.S. is paying people that paid bin Laden. That's right, gene therapy, definitely. In 2016, the Islamic American Relief Agency shut down after the organization admitted in federal court that it provided $1.4 million to Iraq, violating U.S. sanctions. A representative for the organization pled guilty in Jefferson City, Missouri, where the organization was headquartered, conspiring to violate International Emergency Economic Powers Act. Sounds like I'm a fan of Sydney Sweeney's genes. Yes, I would love to get inside them. The organization also pled guilty to 1 count of conspiracy to commit money laundering. Despite its history, the State Department announced earlier this month that it would partner with World Vision and others to provide global health and humanitarian assistance in countries in need. Marco Rubio, what is going on? There's got to fire some of these people that are doing this shit. This announcement is the largest allocation of global health assistance to faith-based organizations in 20 years. Why? Why give money to faith-based people that are terrorists? Senior Trump officials told JNS that World Vision is severely compromised by ties to Islamic terrorists and radical left-wing climate change agenda, and questioned the decision to partner with them. The State Department, however, denied any suggestion that the Trump administration was allowing foreign assistance to be funneled to terrorist organizations. Yeah, they go like this. We don't see the money going anywhere. We don't know. Where's the money going? We don't see it going anywhere. We see it's going right here. We don't see. That's what's going on right now. We got to fire these people. Any implication that the Trump administration is permitting the diversion of U.S. foreign assistance with ties to terrorism is baseless. Oh, is it baseless? You just say that you're not allowing it, but it's happening. By ignoring that it's happening and just going like this and saying, I see nothing, I see nothing, I see here nothing, I see nothing. That's not an excuse to me. They shouldn't be giving money to any religious organization. I agree. No administration has held Hamas and other radical terrorist organizations more accountable than the Trump administration. Well, that's true, but if you're giving money to them, that's kind of a problem. You know what I'm saying? Gnome sand. This story is crazy. What on earth? Yeah, we shouldn't be giving money to anyone. That's right. Government is way too big. That's right. It is. Teacher of the Year in Nashville, Tennessee, just walked away from her career and says that the district ordered her to fabricate grades. She refused, so they went into the system and changed it themselves. According to the teacher, the student didn't finish a project. The teacher gave the student the grade the student earned. The parent came in and sat in the office for hours until the grade changed. 3 administrators huddled up and decided to award the award-winning teacher was the problem. She still refused to change the grade, so they overrode her and changed it anyway. She quit in May and put it all in a 3-page resignation letter. It's public. Read it for yourself. She calls it grade fabrication. And then she stood up in front of the school board and said the quiet part out loud. Statistics are being skewed to protect the district, not our children. Our kids can't read. They can't write. They can't do basic math. But the dashboard looks great. And she is not the only one. WSMV4 investigates pulled the internal emails of a math teacher at Overton High. Kid probably can't read. Yeah. Administrators told her that she had to hand the failing student a D- over a paperwork technicality about parent notification. One kid was told again and again to make up his exams and never bothered. She was on medical leave for most of that semester. She put her refusal in writing. What is being done is unethical and could be very well be interpreted as illegal. The district suspended her. She's suing them. When a teacher and an administrator disagree about a grade, the administrator wins. Not the person who taught the class, not the person who graded the work. The bureaucrat whose numbers go up when your kid passes. Homeschool your kids.
I was Teacher of the Year at John F. Kennedy Middle School in Antioch this past year, and Blue Ribbon Teacher of the Year for the district. What you have in front of you right now is my resignation letter. I resigned in May. You can read those 3 pages at your leisure. But I've heard a lot of positive data in this meeting, and I just wanted to give you some facts from my firsthand experience. So first, district leaders asked me to fabricate grades for a parent who sat in the office for hours until her daughter's failing grades were changed. It creates false entitlement. What happens when these kids lie, cheat, and cry their way through school and end up as future doctors, police, or politicians? When will you protect the future of our society? Second, that same parent has harassed over 30 teachers. Teachers have filed police reports, and entire school districts have had or entire schools have had restraining orders against her. Yet she's still allowed on school property, showing up to field trips her child didn't earn and filming other students. When will you stop prioritizing parents' feelings over the safety of our teachers and our students? I heard you also mention that we're closing gaps in teacher vacancies. I want the public to know that many of those are filled with uncertified teachers. My third point, HR withheld money from my employee paycheck as well as many others. They took $500 from me specifically, and it put me behind on my mortgage. And then they sent out an email saying that they had to do it to pay other employees. When will you pay teachers what they are owed? My fourth point, the news reports that behavioral issues are down. They are not. We are simply banned from reporting them, forcing us to keep disruptive students in the classroom. Statistics are being skewed to protect the district, not our children. Our children cannot read and write. They cannot do basic math. And we spend 40 hours a week with these students, so we know them better than the district and those fake numbers. Please stop undermining our professional decisions, because honestly, it's breaking the efficiency and it's giving HOA quality. So Dr. Battle, my question to you.
Thank you. The time.
Okay.
The time. Wow, that's crazy. It is crazy, isn't it? That they're going to do this stuff. They think it's funny. You know, they think it's, just stuff going on that You know, they could just get away with this stuff. It's crazy. It's just crazy. It is. It really is. It's crazy. They could just keep this stuff happening over and over again. That's crazy. So they will be passing them through med school. Contemplate that for a minute. Yeah, that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. Tennessee teacher near quits, accusing school of directing her to change the grades. Wow. Northwestern's going to end their African studies program. Oh, there you go. Good. There was a terrorist on a board of education in Tennessee. Probably. 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 She attended 2 schools in the first school with no college. What? UC Berkeley math professor forced to teach fractions because students have fallen so far. Oh my God. Wow. We'll look at that after this story. So here, out of the Post. Out of the Post. Tennessee teacher of the year quits after accusing school directing her to change her grades. Failing grade. Well, total cost of college education, 0. She had a full ride scholarship. Wow. I worked my ass off, sacrificing what I want by grace of God, put my daughter in private schools for elementary, high school education. Okay. All right, now I get the story. I was off. So a Tennessee teacher was named teacher of the year, quit. Samira Hardcastle named 2025-2026 teacher of the year at JFK Middle School. Submitted her letter of resignation. District leaders asked me to fabricate grades for a parent who sat in the office until her daughter's failing grades were changed. Yeah, I guess that's probably what they mean by, I got to work twice as hard. I have to sit there twice as long as someone else would to get my kid's grade changed. What? Yeah, every night I see more proof of how fucked we are as a country. I agree. Hell, back in the 2000s when I started college, a lot of students needed remedial math and English. Yeah. That's right. Somehow just know I'm exception, slow learner. Well, you're fine. I just can't, man. So much stuff is going on. It just drives me batty. Creates false entitlement. What happens when these kids lie, cheat, and cry their way through school and end up as a doctor, a police, or politicians? Why do you protect the future of our society? She accused the district of allowing the same parent, whom she said harassed more than 30 teachers, to continue entering school property. Innocent mom of 5 bleeds out in a bar bathroom, struck by a stray bullet. Oh. Kristen Cinema. I thought Cinema was a lesbian. Kirsten Cinema details repeated sex with bodyguard in a homewrecker case where ex wants $75K. I swore that she was a lesbian. I got that wrong? Or maybe she, well, you know what they say. Never mind. Teachers have filed police reports. Entire schools have restraining orders. The grade dispute began when Hardcastle gave the student a failing mark for not finishing an art project, which prompted the student's parent to intervene and administrators to tell Hardcastle to change the grade. The McDonald's manager is now getting a doctorate. Well, there you go. Many adults can barely read at the 10th grade level. I want to see the turnaround, damn it. I don't see the pushback. What do they say, Jim? Well, about how there's really there's not any actual lesbians. They're just lesbians. And then, as soon as something shows up, they jump on that. I don't know. It's a joke. It's a bad joke. Sorry. Hardcastle refused to do so. The administrators changed it anyway. So a Metro Nashville Public School spokesman said the claim doesn't fully reflect what occurred. It doesn't fully reflect what occurred. Adding that there was no written school-wide policy at the time that prohibited the student from being given an opportunity to complete the work. The student ultimately finished the project and received the grade. Hardcastle raised concerns about teacher vacancies and payroll. I heard you also mentioned closing gaps, so yeah. You saw that cyclist? Yeah. Wokies are blaming critics of Jason Arde for his passing. Oh, well, clearly he was a very stable guy. Finished the project and received the participation trophy. Yeah. That's good news. So, Hardcastle was disciplined for what the district called unprofessional communication with the parent and student. Oh, unprofessional, huh? Diana Willis, a former math teacher, also received directives to change failing grades according to internal emails. What is being done is unethical and could very well be illegal, Willis wrote in an email. Willis was told by administrators she had failed students without first notifying their parents as required by district policy. Because of that, she was told to pass the student by giving them a D. Wow. More nightmare fuel. Wow. That is some nightmare fuel right there. That is some nightmare fuel. That is some nightmare fuel. Willis said one student had been given multiple opportunities to retake the exams but never followed through, and pointed out that she spent much of the semester on medical leave. I'm surprised she's not fired. She's white. You are latching on to a very vague line in the policy so you can cook the books to have the data look the way you need it to. Willis is now suing the district over suspension. Nashville Metro Schools said Willis' case involved a difference of opinion over district policies and that the grade changes do not meaningfully affect the student's final outcome in those courses. Oh. Well, then why did they change them if they didn't meaningfully affect their grades? Why did you change them? They probably suck at selling drugs at this point, lack basic math. Yeah, how do they keep count right? This is fraud, nothing less. It is. So, yeah, it's crazy. And it's happening everywhere. And this is what it leads to, stuff like this. UC Berkeley math professor says she has to teach fractions to calculus students because standards have fallen so far. So they can't even do basic fractions. Here's this teacher, break it down. This is a good one, this teacher.
So I am on my lunch break. It is, 11:30 or something like that. And I just finished a 3-hour class. We have what's called block, and block is where first and second periods are combined for subjects that need it. And so I literally broke down in the middle of class because I'm teaching seniors. These kids are leaving high school and going to college, hopefully, after they finish. We had 2 paragraphs to read.
Not everybody has to go to college. If they can't
sentence.
If they can't read or write or do basic math, they shouldn't be going to fucking college. The world needs ditch diggers too. Needs manual labor, needs all this stuff. If they can't do the work, you shouldn't pass them and put them off into college to fail there. That's probably why we have all this shit breaking all over the place and all these problems, because we got a ton of people doing jobs they're not fucking qualified for.
Complete to write. I gave them the sentence stems. I basically completed the sentence for them in the model. These are 17 and 18-year-old kids, and they couldn't fill in 4 words. 4 words.
4 words.
I gave them the scenario. We annotated together. I gave them the answers before we even had the problem. And they couldn't do it. I don't know. I simply don't know where the problem is. This is only day 2. And I have seniors who simply cannot read and seniors who cannot write. They cannot write. They can reason. They have the ability to defend their reasoning if it's talking to their homeboy, but applying that to a written text, 2 paragraphs, and they couldn't do it. Our young black men, our young brown men, our young black girls, and our young brown girls.
Wait, why? So you're saying that this is a race thing? It's only the black and brown kids that can't read and write and do all this stuff? Is that what you're saying? Because I was told by Joe Biden that black and brown kids or poor kids are just as smart as white kids, or whatever he said. Wasn't that what he said? Something like that? I don't know. I think it's just because is that the kids that are just in the school that you're in that are there? Is that what you're saying? Because I've met some pretty dumb white kids too. Believe me, there's some pretty dumb white kids. I mean, it's everything has gone downhill. It's not just black and brown kids. It's white kids too. Blame the community. His tears are appealing to the white whammons. That's right. Doing well in school is acting white. It is. That's all he cares about, Jim. Oh, you're right. That is what Biden said. That's what I thought. This man works for Houston ISD. It's crazy. He is very soft. He's crying for clout. Why is he crying? Well, he's not crying. He's not sad because he's stupid. He's sad, because other people are stupid, and it makes him sad. I don't recommend that anybody join the electrician apprenticeship if they can't already do basic algebra, because you don't want to be trying to learn basic math and electrical theory at the same time. That is true, but they do have in a lot of them, they do have a basic. It's like a basic math class, basic algebra math class. They also have a class on learning how to read a fucking ruler, to make sure people can actually read a ruler, that you know what the difference is, like your fractions, like what's a 32nd, what's a 64th, what's an eighth. Yeah, all that stuff on reading a ruler. It's crazy. Believe me, it's crazy. But they have to make sure. They don't spend a lot of time on it, but if you can't do it, you're going to flunk out. If you can't do basic math and you don't know how to read a ruler, you're going to flunk out. You're never going to make it. They give it I think it's like a week, or how to read a tape measure. Yeah, how to read a tape measure. But it's crazy. It is. It's nuts. But if you can't do it, they give you a week, basically like 1 week to figure it out. If you can't get the math down, you're out. Can't force anyone to learn. Party till the sun came up. One child called me a bad mom because I wouldn't let my kids go outside until their homework and chores were done. Well, we learned how to read a ruler in like first grade, right? Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, try bending conduit without math. No, that's the thing. You have to know math. You have to be able to read a ruler, and you have to know, take up and all that stuff, and you just got to know it. But all right, well, that's enough of this guy. So, a well-known University of Berkeley mathematics professor has slammed admission standards at top flight universities, where he says huge portions of students are failing to keep up with college calculus. She's forced to teach middle school algebra and fractions to students. 16 and 3 little lines. During COVID, I had to help my neighbor's kid with his homework, and he couldn't even comprehend someone reading him a story. I just walked away saying the world needs ditch diggers too. He's sad because he's stuck with stupid. There it is. There's a whole section on how long a wire should be for gauge and load carrying to get an A and P rating. Well, just imagine my frustration watching people who can't read a ruler trying to do track measurements. Ooh. Electricians use some math like Pythagoreans and Ohm's law. Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot more than that. Get expensive bending 4-inch conduit messing up. Yeah, it is. My son was in 5th grade. I made him memorize the multiplication table. He cried and said, "I'm going to tell my teacher, you can't make me do this." The next day I went to see his teacher. Yeah, I don't know why. Honestly, they need to get back to that. The memorizations of the times tables, memorization, all that stuff. It works. Memorization works. Manager of 108 units, Section 8 apartment complex, 80% black. To be fair to the kids, the parents can't speak proper English and didn't make their kids do their homework. Oh, wow. I was going to school for my AP. I decided to join the electrician's apprenticeship instead. There you go. National Joint Apprenticeship Training Center, electrician apprenticeship instead. Yeah. Dude, I'm a master electrician. These kids don't cut the mustard. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm retired. I was a job site superintendent. Before that, I was a general foreman. Before that, I was a foreman. Before that, I was a journeyman. Before that, I was an apprentice. And before that, I was in the Navy as an electronics technician. Even though I was an electronics technician, went to 2.5 years of schooling in the Navy, I still went through the apprenticeship being an electrician because I didn't know how to bend conduit. So I said, I'm going to go through the apprenticeship. I could have did what was called a book 4 and just became a journeyman electrician, but then I learned on the job. But I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to actually, which that was the only thing I really needed to learn how to do was, how to bend conduit. That was it. My mom was a teacher for 36 years. She couldn't have gotten full retirement if she taught she could have gotten full retirement if she taught 4 more years. She couldn't take the principal not punishing students for disrupting all the class and the union protecting teachers that weren't teaching. She's so much happier. Hey, Mary, thanks for being here. You're not very late. We're still going. Yeah, it worked for me. No need to use a calculator. Take away the tablets and the tech. Yeah. So some students are 5 to 8 years behind in mathematics. Office hours that should be spent discussing integrals instead become lessons on fractions and basic algebra. You wouldn't expect students to learn. You'd expect students to learn that in middle school. Yeah. Wow. She rose through mathematics world to earn a PhD from Harvard after being born in communist Bulgaria. Described the admissions process as less like careful evaluation and more like chance. Squared plus b squared, square root of c equals a right angle. So the next year, my son's teacher went to private school, got me in, and his spelling was bad. I had to work with him for a couple of years. Later, he could go through pharmacy school and got his degree. Well, that's awesome. Like I said, my neighbors talk about kids going through the apprenticeship for the shipyard. A lot of them quit in the first week, cannot weld a third as well as the older guys who are drunk or stoned. Well, I wanted to learn how to weld so bad. I just never got the opportunity. I did get to use a torch to cut a lot of shit, though. I couldn't use a graphing calculator in college until Calc 3, except statistics. Yeah. We weren't allowed to use calculator. The only calculators we could use when I was in school was ones that didn't have any type of memory. They couldn't have any memory capability. There was a specific calculator, like a Texas Instruments 34 or TI 34 or something like that. I want to say, or something like TI 30, some weird that was that had no memory storage, so you could just use it to do like the calculate. You couldn't do anything. It was like specific calculators that we could use when doing calculations and stuff like that. But that was it. I was installing a fire alarm system in a high rise, and I liked trying to figure out the binary switches in my head. But I used an app from Simplex to double check it. Yeah. Simplex, you ever do any work with pyrotronics? TI-34 is a good scientific calculator. TI-84 game. There you go. I was a master welder for the New York City Transit. I had to train people to weld. It was extremely frustrating with the ilk we got. Oh, man. Didn't want to be a machinist. There you go. Bought a welding machine. It couldn't weld good for a long time. I couldn't weld good for a long time. There you go. You've done Notifier? All right. The TI something or other from Radio Shack. Yeah. No Bella tonight? We haven't got any donations at all tonight. Nothing. Zero. Zilch. Nothing. Thanks to the P who gifted a membership yesterday. I got one. Also hit the like. Thanks. Yeah, we're backyard cams. Yeah. So she rose to the ranks to get her PhD. She has long been an evangelist for teaching math and founded the Berkeley Math Circle as well as a local math Olympiad for high school kids. But she says the standards for students at the country's most elite public schools and universities have made its campus a laughingstock. She is one of thousands faculty member who signed open letters earlier this year calling for a restoration of the SAT and ACTs and admissions to ensure the best students are getting in. Use your TI-84 Plus every day. There you go. Cinema put on some weight, too. She used to be thin. Standardized testing was phased out by UC Berkeley in 2020 after then college president Janet Napolitano. Janet Napolitano, remember her? She was head of she was like head of like Department of Homeland. Wasn't Homeland? No. She was head of something for Biden, like Homeland Security or something. It wasn't Biden. I'm sorry, for Clinton, but it wasn't Homeland Security. It was something else. What was it? It wasn't called Homeland Security because that didn't come about till later. What was it? Hey, here we go. $2. Come on, rally. There you go. Thank you, Joe. So that means we're now 98 away from adding a first hour and 48 away from Bellavision. I remember she was Clinton, right? What do I think about the USS Abraham Lincoln thing? I have to learn more about it. I've heard reports that there was some fighting and stuff like that, and that supposedly somebody jumped off. It's possible someone was thrown off or jumped off. I mean, you're going to die, you jump off. But just like everything else that's been going on in the U.S., the standards have third secretary of DHS. She was also governor of Arizona. Okay. Thank you. But I have to learn more about it. We do have a story in the stack somewhere about a CENTCOM commander went to the Lincoln. So we might get to it. We'll see what happens. But with that, we're now 96 away from adding a first additional hour and 46 away from Bellavision. Yeah, we can do it, KK Bronson says. Thank you for the 10. That means we're now 86 away from adding a first additional hour and just 36 away from Bellavision. Apparently, they're cleaning the toilets, and the guys that should be doing it are mad. Oh, yeah, well, aren't doing it. Yeah, they aren't the guy. Yeah, that's the thing. Tom Ridge was the first DHS secretary. Yeah, but that was under. Oh, was Janet Napolitano DHS under Obama? Maybe that's what I'm thinking. It was under Obama. I thought it was something with Clinton. She was AG under Clinton, maybe? No, I thought Janet Reno was AG under Clinton. Articles on the OC Register Daily Pod, other times about me. Yep, hard work pays off. There you go. Thank you. Yes, thank you for supporting the show. She was Attorney General for under Obama or under Clinton. No, Janet Reno was AG, but maybe after Janet Reno. I don't know. I know Janet Reno was AG when they kidnapped Elian Gonzalez. Video clip of U.S. tanker with notes written on a flap are anti-Israel and White House. Oh. Janet Reno was AG under Clinton for the full 8 years. That's what I thought. Yeah, Reno was under Clinton. That's what I thought. I was on CBN 72, but it was like 30 years ago. So Berkeley has one of the lowest acceptance rates of any public university in the country, admitting just 10% of its applicants. She cited a diagnostic exam administered to calculus students before 2020, which shows 71% of students were ready or nearly ready to study calculus. Just 0.14% of those tested between 2018 and 2020 tested below basic algebra. Wow. Napolitano was U.S. Secretary of Poland Security from 2009 to 2013. I think that's supposed to mean Homeland. Yeah. Secretary of Homeland Security. Janet Reno, didn't she do Ruby Ridge and Waco? Yes, she did. Ding, ding, ding. Ding, ding, ding. Between 2021 and 2023, just 44% of students tested ready. So look at that. So it dropped. It got cut in half. Got cut in half. More than 1/3 of calculus students were described as having severe math deficits. Calc 1 is literally the easiest math ever. Voice text fumble. No problem. I knew what it was. I was just messing around. I think Janet Reno was head of the FBI when I was on the Abraham Lincoln. Well, maybe. While other top colleges such as Harvard, MIT, Stanford, and Yale are suspending testing requirements during the pandemic, they have since reinstated them. She pointed out that UC has moved in the opposite direction to its peers with no new admissions policy set to take effect before fall of 2028. Students don't have that kind of time. They attend college once. UC Berkeley did not respond immediately to requests for comments. So this is just crazy. Just nuts. Calculus is fun. Yeah. Well, yeah. When we have to, if the kids don't learn, that's why we're having a problem. They're not prepared. They're not prepared for their future. We're failing them, and they're failing themselves. And not everyone is supposed to go to college. That's part of the problem. Not everyone's supposed to go to college. If they can't cut it, they can't go. That's just it. It doesn't matter. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Well, we have to get this many of this type of person in here, so we have to let these people in. No, if they don't cut it, they don't cut it. That's just the way it is. In a brutal moment, Michigan Senate candidate Abdullah Rahman Mohammed Al-Sayeda just got exposed for admitting that he wants communism. To seize the means of production. He wants to raise middle-class taxes for healthcare. Wow. He said it himself. I want to go further. I want public ownership and public control. Oh, he wants to seize the means. He's a communist. He's a straight-up communist. No child left behind was a mistake. Yeah. Kristen Welker, that's this See You Next Tuesday's name.
Acknowledging that people making less than $1 million could see their taxes go up. I just want to be very clear. Is that a yes?
I'm saying that we'd be paying for healthcare in a different way.
Are you in favor of public ownership models like the one Bernie introduced?
So I want to actually take it a step further.
Okay.
I agree that we need public ownership, but I also agree that we need some system of public control.
Do police really need to use guns? Do we need as much of a police force?
James, do police really need to use guns? I mean, some of this stuff is really crazy. You were just talking about this. Give me your take, though, on that race overall and the general temperature in the Midwest.
I think that race is going very well for Mike Rogers. Mike Rogers is a mainstream Republican who wants to do things like get the cost of prescription drugs down, something that President Trump has led the charge on for the last year and a half and has had success at. And Mike Rogers wants to finish that job and codify it. In fact, just this past week, the Washington Post, of all places, an outlet that is very reticent to give Republicans credit for anything, pointed out that we just saw the largest drop in prescription drug prices in over 60 years in this country.
Wow.
The fact is we're making progress, and we know we have more work to do. We want to finish the job. Meanwhile, you have a guy like El Said who says, look, we're going to raise your taxes and we're going to take away all your private health insurance. I mean, right now there's a gentleman from the UAW, the large auto workers union there in Michigan, making the rounds saying, I don't want you to take away my health insurance. I have good health insurance. Why would you do that? So it really comes down to moving forward the policies that have been working, but we need to finish the task on, or putting Democrats in charge who not only want to take us backwards, want to take us to really extreme far left areas that have never worked anywhere in the world, but certainly are not going to work in this country.
Wow. Fucking commies, man. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. We're going to have to really, really pay attention, or the commies will fucking take us all down. They want to steal all your shit. They think that they know better what to do, and they don't. They just don't. They don't know better. They don't know much, but they're commies. Michigan has never been the Midwest. Not really the Midwest, but we got this. We go back to another one of these crazy people. So 3 years ago this month, Joe Biden's handpicked attorney general handpicked a special counsel, and they brought a third federal criminal indictment against President Trump, then asked for gag orders on him before the election. This came on top of thousands of federal criminal charges against his supporters, wide-ranging investigations into Trump associates. Joe Biden's DOJ hauled dozens of individuals, including Mike Pence, before D.C. grand juries in search of crimes. We know that 200-plus MAGA-tied organizations and their donors and influence were under DOJ investigation. And Jack Smith, working under the authority of Merrick Garland, found a backdoor way to obtain text messages of 40 Republican members of Congress. Not a single member of the media ever confronted Merrick Garland about doing the bidding of Joe Biden. To the contrary, the media lamented that Garland and then Jack Smith weren't working fast enough to put Trump in prison. No questions about the DOJ's independence from White House. Despite evidence disclosed in documents that prosecutors were in communication with Biden's top White House attorneys, including at least 2 visits to the Biden White House prior to the indictments. Yeah. Fannie Willis and that other Nathan Wade, they were going to the White House meeting with Kamala and Biden. Fucking White House sent people to go work with Letitia James and Alvin Bragg. Yeah. But this is what we get now from these scums. All right.
Appreciate your being here in person. As we just heard in your address to the Justice Department staff this week, you said you and DOJ will, quote, uphold the law without fear or favor. You, of course, used to be President Trump's former personal defense attorney. Can you pledge that the Justice Department will always act independently of the White House?
Well, there's a big difference between saying we will always do our job and investigate any case and act independently of the White House. No, I'm not going to pledge that. And no attorney general should ever pledge that. The president, I mean, if I were to pledge I will be independent of the White House, what that means is that if President Trump says, I want the Department of Justice to go after every violent criminal in this country, which is what he has said, what you're saying to me is I should say, no, sir, not going to do it. So I will act with integrity. Our prosecutors will act with integrity. We will prosecute without fear or any sort of favor. And that's exactly what we've been doing. And that's what every Department of Justice should do.
Well, I guess big picture, if the president asks you to do something that you feel crosses an ethical or legal line, would you do it?
The president will never ask me to do something unethical or legal or illegal. He never has. He never will. And no, I swore to the Constitution of the United States, like every cabinet secretary has done, and like every attorney general before me has done. And so, this narrative that's mostly pushed by the left and pushed by the media, that the president's going to pull me aside and ask me to do something illegal, is completely a false narrative, not true, will not happen, and hasn't happened.
Okay, let's.
Yeah, Bobby Kennedy was JFK's attorney general, his fucking brother. His brother. They cheered and thought it was the greatest thing in the world. The attorney general works for the president. The Department of Justice it operates as the president's the boss. They prosecute people. That is the pinnacle of executive power and executive authority. Deciding who to prosecute. If the president's not in charge of that, then we have a fucking banana republic. If Trump is his boss, should he listen to him or tell him to fuck off? Yeah, exactly. This is crazy. This is crazy, but it just keeps going with this broad. Oh. You know, Welker, the DOJ's lost 22 cases trying to force states to turn over their voter rolls. Well, let's see. Obama had a wingman and they thought it was just peachy keen. Yeah. So here, we're going to play it because I don't want to read it, but this is just ridiculous.
The issues that he really cares about, the midterms, and there's been a lot of focus on the midterms as it relates to the Justice Department, which has lost 22 cases trying to force states to turn over their voter rolls. State officials have pushed back against those moves. They say states dictate how elections are run, not the federal government. Is it time for the DOJ to drop this fight, and will you do it?
Well, we're relying on a statute passed by Congress that allows us in the right circumstances to review and get those voter rolls. And so, yes, no, we're not going to stop doing what I think every American should expect us to do, which is make sure that we have elections that are fair. And as that relates to the Department of Justice, that means making sure that there are no constitutional legal violations, even at the state level. So, yes, President Trump, this administration knows and of course understands that states administer elections, and that will always be the case, but it doesn't mean the federal government should play no role. And so the tension there is, of course, whether we should be playing the role that we're playing, and that's really what we're litigating.
How far are you willing to take this fight? Because you've been ruled against now 22 times. Are you going to take this all the way to the Supreme Court, do you anticipate?
We'll see. We'll see what happens. We're trying to work it out with states. Of course, yes, absolutely, it's a possibility. Election integrity is something that President Trump ran on, and the American people elected him. It's something that every American should care about. And so the idea that the Department of Justice is trying to investigate issues around elections to make sure they're fair and make sure they're conducted the right way is not something that we should be running away from. That's something we should be running right towards.
Wow, that's crazy, right? Isn't that crazy? Just crazy. It's okay. She'll only ask him 6 more times because of reasons. Bitch can hire, if he can hire and fire him and Trump is his boss, the cunt don't know shit. Yeah, it's just, you've 22 times. It doesn't matter. District courts. Yeah, district courts keep ruling this shit by lower courts. Wow. Biden was told remember when Biden was told by the Supreme Court, you can't forgive these student loans? And he said, I did it anyway. Did you guys ever say that Biden was trampling on the Constitution, was ignoring the courts, was disobeying the Supreme Court? No, you guys fucking cheered it on because what you wanted. even though the Supreme Court told them you couldn't do it. Yeah, tyrannical lower court, inferior judges. That's right. Blanche is such an upgrade from Blondie. I know it's not saying much, but he's doing a way better job. 22 times by lower court losers. Yeah, it's amazing how they shut up when the upper court's overturned. Yeah, they don't say anything when they get overturned, do they, on appeal? They don't say, oh, no. They don't say shit. So, all right. And we got this. This is good. Tallarico's a democratic socialist, and he proves it. He supports transing children. He calls election integrity phantoms, and he says teaching Bible stories and the 10 Commandments is indoctrination and Christian bullying. But it's okay for the schools to take kids on school trips, right? To Muslim mosques, right? That's okay. That's okay. Huh. That's just A-okay.
Press seems to have forgotten about him. We haven't seen much from him in the news since last week when he joined Rachel Maddow and tried to portray himself as a fighter.
If you see me on the back mic in the well of the State House, I have no problem going toe-to-toe when I need to.
And to be fair, he did fight for gender-affirming care for minors.
If that doctor, in evaluating the specifics of the case, believed that not providing that gender-affirming care would do more harm than good, then that doctor would provide that care.
Now, he and Maddow also appeared to question concerns over election integrity.
There's all of this, not just fear-mongering, but threatening people around these sort of phantoms of voter fraud.
Attacks on voting rights, this redistricting power grab, those are attempts to rig the rules of the game.
Now, did Maddow not cover New Jersey? If not, Rachel, we have your lead on Monday. But outside of that interview, it feels like we're hearing less and less about James Tallarico. Saturday in America has been asking him to come on, but his team never responds. Is he afraid to answer the questions we have for him? I'm not sure, but the invitation remains open. Come on, James, we'd love to have you on the program. Texas Republican Senate nominee Ken Paxton, who's trying to stop him from getting to the U.S. Senate, is here. Thank you for being here, Ken. Great to have you. I want to start by playing a recently resurfaced comment from James Tallarico. It kind of went everywhere this week, but these are his views on the Bible and some of the curriculum in the state of Texas. Listen to this.
A new state curriculum that would teach Christian Bible stories as historical fact, as the only truth to our youngest students. And I mean kindergarten, first graders. These are kids who aren't able to think for themselves yet. They haven't formed their own worldviews. And to push propaganda, to push indoctrination on those youngest students is deeply immoral.
Is Texas pushing propaganda on students?
No, we're teaching history. We're teaching things that happened in the past. Some of those are biblical. Some of those is not biblical. So it's broad history. And I don't know why James Tallarico, he says he's a Christian, although he says he hates Christianity, has attacked Christianity at every stage, including this teaching, including even putting the 10 Commandments in. He said it was Christian bullying and hypocrisy on our part to have the 10 Commandments in our schools. So he's definitely on the fringe element of people in Texas, but they just don't know it. So that's one of the reasons he's avoiding the media, is because he doesn't want to answer your questions about his radical socialist democratic views.
Yeah, I think he should do an adversarial interview, or at least just an honest one, asking honest questions. Because Rachel Maddow, it's kind of drinking from the Kool-Aid when you're James Tallarico and you go on that show.
That's funny, right? Yeah. You go on the shows, do the stuff and all the things. Yeah. Do it. So, yep. Well, we got this. Look, parents sue California schools for taking students on field trips to mosques. Girls were told to wear hijabs and given Qurans. The 10 Commandments isn't only Christian laws. Yes, the 10 Commandments is the basis for all Western civilization. It really is. Liberal propaganda is okay, though. Yeah, it is. They want to teach sex eds in kindergartens. Yeah. Some judge ruled that abortion is okay if you threaten suicide. Oh, there you go. Maryland teacher sex ed in elementary school. Yeah, that's it. That's what they do. Indoctrinating 6-year-olds transing is just fine. Yeah, it is. This is just fine, according to them. This is just fine. Just fine. Just fine. A field trip to a mosque told girls were told to wear a hijab. The very definition of creeping Sharia, and it's unconstitutional. Parents are suing Palo Alto High School in California after students were taken on a field trip to a mosque last fall and given Qurans as part of the school's social justice pathway program. The female students were told to wear an Islamic head covering. Parents of former Jewish students, a Hindu parent and a Zoroastrian parent, filed a lawsuit against the Palo Alto High School and the school district and the principal. The lawsuit alleged that photos of the children were posted online without parental consent. The children were also exposed to Zahra Bilo, a radical Islamist activist and executive director of the Bay Area's Office of the Terror-Linked Care. That's pretty upper class. Yeah, this is what they do, though. They're converting the kids. That's what they're doing. They slammed the parents who filed the lawsuit in a statement, accusing them of attempting to intimidate the school district. Public schools and government have an obligation to remain neutral towards religion. That's not fucking neutral, buddy. Telling them they've got to put on a headdress and handing them Qurans. But what neutrality does not mean is shielding students. The entire educator is to teach students and expose them to different worldviews. Not when it comes to religion, my motherfucker. That's not true. One of the most important ways we combat hate is to learn about each other. Oh, okay. All right. So if we, what if we forced Muslim students to go to a and force them to go to a synagogue, and that the women had to take their burqas off and the men had to put the kippahs on? Huh? What about that? Would that be okay? One of the most important, Ron DeSantis announced his intent to designate CARE as a terrorist group. California Post reported that the Bay Area high school students took a field trip to a mosque, are suing over the visit. Students were encouraged to wear hijabs and given Qurans. They weren't encouraged. They were told they had to do it. The 10 Commandments was a good Charlton Heston movie. Yeah, it was. It was. I've never heard of a field trip to a church or a synagogue. No. Yeah, we have other religions in our country, but none of them is like demonic Islam. That's right. Yeah, Elizabeth Warren probably has a headdress they can borrow. She left it behind, definitely. Take them to confession and take communion. Yeah. Yeah, that's just the only way to learn, right? The only way to learn. Maybe they should be baptized. It's the only way to learn. A group representing 2 Jewish parents, 3 former Jewish students, a Hindu parent, and a Zoroastrian parent is suing the school over claims that children were exposed to the idea that Islam was aligned with social justice work. Oh, so that's right. Social justice. If you want to be a social justice warrior, you got to be for Islam. I know you mean hijab, still funny. Burqa, hijab, whatever. I don't give a fuck. The group, Community Members for Religious Neutrality, said students in the school's social justice pathway program took a trip to a mosque and were handed Qurans while female students were encouraged to wear hijabs, the Islamic face covering viewed by women as oppressive. Some women? No. The lawsuit alleged photos of the students were taken and posted without parental consent. Palo Alto School District principal was also named in the lawsuit. Public schools across the country are busing American Christian and Jewish children to mosques. A Texas public school recently came under fire for taking students to an Islamic center to experience Islam firsthand. It's happening. Texas public students were bused to an Islamic center to experience Islam firsthand. Students visited a mosque and left changed.
It's always exciting to have the opportunity to speak to the general community about Islam. And this past week, right before Ramadan started, we were blessed to have a group of high school students from Kingwood High School and Atascocita High School come and visit the Centro Islamico. And
this should not be happening at all. I don't give a shit at all. I would not support them taking them to a church or a synagogue either. Not at all. At all. Bring out the swords. They made the full burqa. You're correct, Jim. That's what I thought. I'm sure they weren't told the truth. No, were they told, social justice, were they told that Muhammad married Aisha when she was 6? But he didn't consummate the marriage until they were 9. So he didn't have sex with her until she was 9. So did they tell them that? Did they? They're trying to take over Texas, Jim. It's a swing state, isn't it? Yeah, that's what they're doing. Oh, my God, this is my neck of the woods. I live a little bit west of those 2 schools. It's crazy. Bellavision plus the $5 rent. Oh, well, thank you. There we go. we'll go ahead and do that. We'll activate Belavision just for you. Thank you so much. So with that 20, that means we are now 66 away from adding a first additional hour, plus the 5 on Rumble is 61 away. So we're 61 away from a first additional hour. Thank you so much. And here's your rant over here. Thank you. Thank you so much. So we got the Belavision. They hated the pledge because under God. Yeah, you can't say the Pledge of Allegiance because under God, which that's just a God. That's not like, doesn't specify what the God is. Separation of church and state for a reason. Yeah, that was the argument. It sure was. Yeah. I saw a Tommy Robinson video where girls were taken to a mosque for the experience. I never thought it would happen here. Oh, yeah, they're doing it everywhere. Yeah, it's all in the name of social justice because these crazy fucking communist leftists believe that the Muslims are the oppressed people. You see, they're oppressed. Even though there's billions of them in the world, they're all over the place. It's just in the U.S., there's not many of them. And in like countries that are fucking civilized, they're not there. Any country, they got a large proportion of. Look at the country. They're not fucking civilized. They're not good countries, not places you want to live. Everyone knew they hated America. That's right. I'm south of here, there in Harris, and Galveston County is full of corruption. Yes, thank you, CF Rob. Didn't most schools ban field trips due to safety concerns? Well, they should just ban them altogether. That's what they should just do. Yeah, school is supposed to be scholastics, reading, writing, arithmetic, the 3 R's. Reading, writing, arithmetic. But once they conquer this country, there won't be any separation of mosque and state. That's right. Because that's the thing is, Islam is a political movement. It's not really, it's religion and politics and law and government all rolled into one. It is. Sorry, that's what it is. You got to face the facts. You got to realize it. You got to figure it out. Figure it out.
The group was mixed with Muslims and people from other faiths. And their teachers wanted them to see a different side of the Muslims, the diversity within our community. And these are, brothers and sisters, of the greatest blessings that we can have, is to be able to explain to the younger generation not only what Islam is and how it impacted our lives, but also giving them an insight to the work of Islam in Spanish, and also what the Centro Islamico means to us and what we try to live by when it comes to hosting people here and making them feel at home. And many times we may underestimate the impact that may have when you have over 30 students being able to go back to X amount of classmates that they can speak about what their experience was here at the Centro Islamico, what they heard about when Islam impacted these individuals' lives, but also when they're able to go back and speak to their families of this experience. We hope at minimum that it was something positive and definitely not something that was negative and at times an opportunity to wipe away many misinformation and stereotypes that one may have against the Muslims. So it was an opportunity, alhamdulillah, that we were given by Allah. And this is always by His help and also the support of the community, allowing us to continue this work, not only for the immediate future, but also looking way down the line when these young men and women are adults and they can speak positively about Islam.
Wow, that's crazy. That's just nuts. All right, next story we got. President Trump rips Fox News host Shannon Breen, compares her to worst of fake news. This is crazy. This is crazy. Wow, that's crazy. This is just nuts, man. Just nuts. All right. So President Trump ripped Fox News host Shannon Breeve and Jessica Tarl. Well, Jessica Tarl, if I can see it, I'll be in the dust by the time they take Florida. Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. I just reconnected with a childhood friend from primary school. He went to Liberal University, wants to impeach Trump just to show we can do it. Cult Democrat. Yeah. Well, whatever, man. This is what it is. What's this? Melania's camel toe. Fart. Oh, look at this person. Wow. We got a crazy person in Rumble. I guess I have to go over there and fix this. Oh, it says they already been. You got him already? Okay, you got him already? All right. I just noticed all the fart. You got him? All right, good. Because I was like, what is all that stuff? So Trump compared Shannon Breeve to worst of fake news CNN. All right, let's see.
Look, I think there are elements within the Republican Party. Republicans had an insurrection to try to overthrow the government.
We can talk about that.
Oh, fuck you, Juan Williams, you lying cocksucker. It was no insurrection. Yeah, it was an insurrection with no guns.
I was trying to say to you that that's an element of that what you just played is someone having an expression of her feelings, and she's a legitimate elected official, so she should have her say. But I think what we're going through here is, one, what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said was that it was crazy but fruitful. And remember, we're going back to the time of Black Lives Matter and George Floyd being killed by a policeman. And you have had real conversations about police reform subsequently. But what we are experiencing now is Republicans want to talk about trans athletes. They want to talk about defund the police, which obviously has just not become real anywhere, because they have an unpopular president. I think Fox News has him at 39%. So 60% of the country thinks this is a failed presidency. And we have a very unpopular war. So this is what they want to get away from. They want people to talk about DSA and radical ideas. By the way, you said the idea of America. Boy, that's so wrong, right?
America through a lens of grievance.
But guys,
you cannot claim
not a
the
lens of
flag
hope.
and claim the American idea. Democrats are right with you.
But if you're talking about getting rid of SCOTUS, the presidency, the borders, all of that stuff, I mean, you guys are having to have that conversation.
Look, as I say, the Republicans had an insurrection.
Okay.
Oh, whatever. Fuck you, your insurrection. So treatment. I don't know Shannon, but she always seems to pick guest charts and polls that are negative, never talking about the incredible things the Trump administration has done, like total border control, most successful stock market in history, breaking the record many times over, great military victories over Venezuela, essential to denuclearization of Iran. Greg is back. I don't know what happened. Something happened and all my stuff got cleared out on YouTube. All the people that were blocked got cleared out. How is Juan back on Fox? I don't know. George Floyd overdose. Stop the lie. Yep. Many blue cities cut back on police funding. I think Dems want Islam to destroy America to Russell. Well, that's what's going on. It's called the Red Green Alliance. It's the Islamists and the communists have decided to get together, and they're fighting together to basically try to take over the country. And then they think that both of them think they'll win out. Like we'll be able to beat them once we take over. I think Floyd left in the trunk alive. Look up black CPR dummy. Oh my God. Could be, Jeff. I don't know. Lowest crime rate in history. Yeah, I see Shannon interviewing hostile guests, having losers like Juan Williams, who got fired like a dog from PBS, and was thrown off the 5 for somebody even dumber than him, Jessica Tarloff. Oh my God. Another rant. Oh, a little support. Well, thank you, Brain Socks, for the 5. Thank you so much. With that means, folks, we are now just $56 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. We're almost halfway there. George Floyd was the only person that died of something other than COVID during that period of time. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's weird, isn't it? Thank you. Islam would own them. I think so. I don't think the commies would be able to fight the Islamists. They would have to basically commit Harry Carey just because, they literally own them. Islam loves slavery. Yes, they do. So, yeah. And then walking to headquarters, and they begging me for a picture. Can I have a picture with you? It would be such a great honor. Shannon's show is beyond redemption. Fortunately, MAGA, which is close to 100% of the Republican Party, understands that. Watching a rating start to fall. Chris Wallace was bad, but Shannon's even worse. Shannon Bream's show, they showed pictures of the military complex site and the White House. Unfortunately, the pictures were months old before much of the work had been started. Now the hardest work is substantially complete with the work on the roof drone port to begin shortly. So they're showing old pictures and they're trying to basically make Trump look bad. That's all they ever do. That's all they ever do. Fox News sucks. Rupert Murdoch hates Trump. They always have. They thought it was a joke. The coroner said he died of an overdose. Yes, that's what they said. And then they came in and made him change the stuff. The media won't report that, Steve. That's right. They won't. I'll say publicly that it was an insurrection if they say Floyd died of an overdose and the cop was legally convicted. Yes, I'll make that deal. Dems will probably say he was murdered before he got COVID. Yeah. That's what they'll say. So Elon Musk has infuriated foreign governments by making public any and all censorship required by governments in open space. Any censorship required by governments is now clearly visible, 100%. The censors will hate this. Thank you, Elon Musk. That's what he's going to do. That's what he's going to do. That's what he's going to do. He vows to expose government censorship demands on X. I don't like when Trump does that. Let the surrogates do the dirty work. Yeah. I don't know. I think the USSR kept Islamists in check, but we aren't talking about the same level of people. No, that's what I'm saying. The DSA is it's not that many people. And these commies that we got here, a lot of them, they would say oh, well, I guess we have to be Islamists now because otherwise we'd be racist. We'd be bigoted. We'd be Islamophobic if we don't let them kill us. Wonder where all the Afghan people Biden brought in and initially put on bases. Yeah, wonder where they all went. Under the plan changes, X will notify users when a government agency requests specific content be taken down or an account be restricted. I've seen some of those before. I've gotten reports that said your post can't be shown in Germany or your post can't be shown in Australia, stuff like that. Elon Musk said X will begin more clearly identifying government requests to remove posts or restrict accounts, giving users information about which authorities sought the action and why. The DSA is probably 1% of the people. It's not even that much. It's only a couple of 100,000 members. 3 million people would be 1%. They're 200,000 people or 170,000 people. That's it. Under the plan changes, X will notify users when a government agency requests specific content be taken down or an account be restricted. The platform also plans to identify the agency involved and provide the legal justification, which would be nice, right? We deserve to know legal justification. We really do. Really, really do. It would be nice. Would be nice. Would be nice. So the move comes as X continues to operate under different laws and regulations across countries, including India, Turkey, and members of the EU. The platform has faced government demands to remove content, restrict accounts in multiple jurisdictions. X has previously used measures including regional restrictions when complying with legal orders. The new approach is intended to make those interventions more visible to users. Yes, an organized minority can beat a disorganized majority. It can. So, and rather than leaving them to appear solely or as ordinary platform moderation decisions, Musk has repeatedly presented himself as a supporter of free speech since acquiring the company formerly known as Twitter. The company's also faced disputes with regulators over requests involving political speech, journalists, and other users. At the same time, X must comply with laws in countries where it operates or risk penalties and other regulatory action. The new labeling system will make the source of a government request visible when X takes action. Users will be able to see whether an intervention came from the platform itself or filed a request from state authority. I don't understand, honestly, I don't understand why the U.S. government hasn't stepped up to say to all these other countries, fuck you. That's a U.S. company. You can't tell them what to do. Suck a dick. That's what, if I was president, I would be calling the phone. Hey, go fuck yourself, Germany. How's that sound? That's what I think should happen. But I'm just an asshole. Look at this shit. Migrant from Ghana arrested multiple times in 2 weeks for raping and sexually assaulting women in Oklahoma. Interesting. So migrant from Ghana multiple times. That's for you guys that don't know, multiple times, that means more than once, probably more than twice, because they would say twice if it was 2 times. But they're saying multiple times. Multiple times. Vote Jim for president. Islam wins where the women get mouthy. Yeah. It gets popular, just saying. Yeah. A migrant from Ghana has been arrested at least 3 times in the past 2 weeks for raping and sexually assaulting women in Oklahoma. Why do they keep letting this dude out of jail? Well, because cultural. They're probably going to let him go for cultural differences, just like they do when the Islamists rape the people in Minnesota. They go, well, what are you going to do? So Jeff Asshair has been in jail 3 times in the last 2 weeks for allegedly assaulting women. On August 1st, near Northwest 23rd Street on Clazen Boulevard, police responded to a possible rape. He pushed a woman against a bus stop window and put his hands down her pants. Another woman told police that Asshair came up behind her while she was walking on Clazen Boulevard, pulled her pants down, and fled after she pushed him away. He was arrested for sexual battery and indecent exposure. I would say multiple implies 4 or more times. Yeah. 5 days later, he allegedly walked up behind a woman, grabbed her buttocks multiple times, began digging in his pants. When the woman asked him to leave, he walked away. Asked him to leave, like, why doesn't any of these women pull out what old, Samuel Colt called the equalizer? 6 days after that, firefighters intervened and called police. So look at this. So his Kufi Aser. Oh, so look at that. They were calling him Jeff Aser up here, but his name is Kufi, not Jeff. Look at these fucking lies. Sorry for the all caps. I'm so sick of this. No problem. No problem. DSA is high plus low versus middle strategy where the upper class uses the poor to defeat the middle class. It sounds like it. Aser sounds like a fun airline. 38 Snubnose is perfect anti-grape device. It is. So rape, first degree sexual battery, breaking and entering, trespass, retail theft. I'm gonna see how many more are on here because it seems like quite a list. Oh yeah, it's quite a list. Obstruction, retail larceny, injuring, trespass, obstruction, larceny, trespass. Seems to me like this guy should be back wherever the fuck he came from. Maker Famous filed a judicial complaint against his activist judge whose stated goal is jail reduction. He repeatedly released this guy, so he raped 3 American women. Oh, what do you know? Cindy Truong is a Oklahoma district court judge. She presides over felony criminal docket and engages in community-backed jail reduction efforts. Faced public debate and criticism for local law enforcement regarding pretrial release decisions. What do you know? He was born in Ghana in 1999. He is not a citizen and pled no contest to breaking and entering. The court issued him an official immigration warning. Oklahoma judge Cindy Truong previously released Aser on August 1st for sexual battery, on August 6th for sexual battery, and August 12th for first-degree rape. He's been arrested 3 times in 2 weeks. He was born in Ghana. When he pled no contest to breaking and entering, the court issued him an official immigration warning. Jeff Kofi Aser has been nearly 2 dozen arrests since 2022. He was arrested 3 times just the past 2 weeks. We shouldn't have to live like this. Why is he still in this fucking country? How is this possible? He's laughing and smiling in all our faces because he shouldn't be here. He should not be in this country. He should be gone. He should not be here. He should be Ghana from this world. That's right. This is crazy. This is why they let them rape you. Yeah. I mean, this is crazy. If what's in my mind right now was a crime, I would be arrested. Look at me, he's smiling. He's like, haha, you stupid fucks. I can come here, rape your women, do all the shit, and you can't do nothing. You're just going to let me stay here. Yeah, looks like that to me too. Like, this is just ridiculous. The first time he was arrested, he should have been thrown the fuck out of the country. The first time, he should have been sent back. No more CCP judges. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is fucking crazy. Wow, that was fast. The communist mayor, Katie Wilson of Seattle, is already facing a recall effort. Yes. This one, the one with the 6 head. She doesn't have a 4 head. It's not even a 5 head. Look at that thing. That's a 6 head. This is crazy. And if somebody ends him for attacking them, they'll be charged with murder. Yeah, probably. That's what you call anarcho-tyranny. That's AIDS Loki. That's probably what he is. You're right. Probably got AIDS, trying to give people AIDS. That's an SSRI head for sure. Seattle's new commie mayor is already facing a recall effort. Yeah, she's the one who has she has Antifa people as her security. So the commie mayor who took office a little more than 6 months ago is already facing a recall effort. Jason Rance says the recall will fail. Probably will. She faced real scrutiny from the press after she filed the police chief following a shooting. She's also in the news for urging trans refugees to come to her city. There's no telling whether or not the effort will work. It's not easy to remove an elected official. 2 people in Seattle have filed recall charge against Katie Wilson, alleging she has neglected her duty to maintain public safety and peace. The recall comes amid a slew of city controversies. Melinda Jacobson and Dale Osterun filed the paperwork with King County Election Office on Tuesday, alleging Wilson is derelict in her duties for public safety. Could be derelict. Something's licked, and it ain't the Daryl. That's for sure. It ain't the Daryl. It ain't the Daryl. They can rape women and children, assault our elders as they walk along the streets. There's zero accountability. If I did half of what they've done, we'd be facing a death penalty. So the recall points to 5 specific events: the forced resignation of the police chief, shootings and sex trafficking in North Aurora neighborhood, crime and drug use in the Chinatown district, and the deactivation of the CCTV cameras for police use around the city. Yeah, well, she deactivated them because she didn't want ICE to be able to use them. Residents reported sex trafficking, prostitution, and gun battles putting bullets through homes and businesses. Between January and June, neighbors installed temporary gunfire barriers that the mayor had removed, though SDOT later placed trial barriers after a June 6th, 30th meeting. Hayden Pantier dead. Pantier. What? Oh my God. Wow. She was young. Oh, that's crazy. It's time to admit that you're not right for the job. Resign.
Developing tonight, the Biden Seattle shooting and the resignation of Police Chief Sean Barnes are factors in a brand new recall effort against Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson. Recall charges just filed accuse the mayor of being derelict in her duties when it comes to public safety. Come's Jeremy Harris talked to the people behind the effort and continues our team coverage live tonight in Seattle. Jeremy?
Yeah, Mayor Wilson, as we've reported, is facing pressure from a lot of different sides, including with a very divided city council who's upset with her over her decision to push out Chief Sean Barnes, the response to the Bite of Seattle shooting, as well as her decision to turn off public surveillance cameras. Well, now a woman in North Seattle says she believes she can get enough support to force the mayor out of office.
I've taken heat in my life before. I'm ready for it. Somebody had to do it.
Melinda Jacobson knows it will be a tough process.
It's not political gainship at all. It's what the city needs.
But she believes she can recall Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson.
It needs to be done. And again, it's nothing personal against her. She's just not right for the position at this time.
Jacobson filed this paperwork known as a recall charge against Wilson. This is the start of what could become a petition to recall Wilson from office.
There are certain standards that have to be met, and you think you've met those standards.
I believe so. I did a lot of research on it.
Jacobson's petition accuses Wilson of dereliction of her duty as mayor. It cites the ongoing public safety issues on Aurora Avenue, as well as rampant drug use in Little Saigon, and Wilson's order to shut off public surveillance cameras in Pioneer Square. It also says the mayor failed the city by forcing out former Chief Sean Barnes just days after the bite of Seattle shooting.
She's going to have people watching every move she makes because it's not just me that's fed up. It's a number of citizens. It's a city council. They've gone on.
Speaking of fed up, would you guys like to get fed up? And by fed up, I mean fed well with some good protein. If you guys head on over to www.biltongusa.com and use promo code Jim, you can save 10% on all their great meats. They have Drowers and Cabanasi. They also have Peri Peri if you like a little spice. They also have the Ghost Pepper and the Carolina Reaper if you really want some heat. And they also now are selling ribeye steaks. Yes, that's right. Ribeye steaks from their cows that they raise on their land, grass-fed. No antibiotics, no crappy hormones, none of that shit. Direct, good, pure meat just for you, raised right, the American way, straight to your door. And it's 10% off if you use code Jim. So go to www.biltongusa.com and get yourself some premium meats. And they also have other cakes, candies, cookies, and snacks from all around the world you can get. And they have new sauces. Check out Viva's Crazy Verde, the new sauce. Viva Fry's favorite sauce, Viva Verde. Check it out. Head on over. Thanks.
Record, most of them.
But filing paperwork doesn't guarantee there will even be a recall petition. The prosecuting attorney's office will have to review Jacobson's charges and then refer them to a judge if they meet technical standards. You think that this petition can go through and actually remove her from office?
I hope that the district prosecutor attorney that looks at it will understand. It's very, in my opinion, well laid out. It's time to admit that you're not right for the job. Resign quietly and let somebody else that knows how a city should run do the work. She's making us a laughing stock around the country.
Wow.
Now, this afternoon, I just heard back from the mayor's staff. They say they're aware that this paperwork has been filed at the election office. They say it does not appear to have merit for these recall charges. They said they're going to let the courts sort that out while they focus on the more urgent needs of the city. Reporting live in Seattle, Jeremy Harris, Como News.
And Jeremy, Wilson's not the first mayor to face recall charges like this, right?
Yeah, you may remember back in 2020, then Mayor Jenny Durkan faced a similar recall charge that was filed. That one actually went into the court system, and it ended up in the Washington Supreme Court, and they struck it down. So she did not actually face a recall vote, but it went through a similar process, at least in the beginning.
Jeremy Harris, live for us tonight in Seattle. Thanks, Jeremy.
Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy stuff, man. Wow. That's crazy. Wow. This is crazy. Wow. Colombian president says he asked President Trump to suspend the tariffs after the devastating earthquake, which is, a good idea. This guy, what's it say? Bat is studer. Hey, buddy, I help kick streamers get followers, viewers, and subs. Fast, meet up your goal line. Hit me on Discord. Oh, hey, okay, I'll try it out. 1,000 followers. Wow. 500 active viewers and 25 subs. Wow. I wonder if those are bots, as they call them. Durka, Muhammad Jihad. That's right. They haven't. That's right. Durka was the Summer of Love mayor. Yeah, Durkan. You can ask. That's right. Hey, what's up? So Colombia's new president, El Tigre, is asking President Trump to suspend the tariffs that targeting the nation because they're reeling up the earthquake. Well, that's good as long as they promise to take all their criminals back. So U.S. tariffs on Colombian products rose from 10% to 12.5% in July. I asked them to consider a temporary suspend the high tariffs that are affecting Colombian products in order to give some relief to our business owners who are facing difficult times due to the earthquake. The increased tariffs went in effect July 24th. De La Espriella says he's spoken for about 10 minutes to Trump, who he said expressed his condolences. Why don't they say President Trump? Why Mr. Trump? You call this guy president, fucking assholes. So, the conversation was friendly and cordial. The tremor devastated the western Colombian cities of Cali and Pereira, leaving nearly 300 people dead and destroying almost 13,000 homes. Wow. It's 13,000 homes. It destroyed 13,000 homes. That's what it did. It destroyed 13,000 homes, man. That's what it did, man. 13,000 homes. It destroyed them. It destroyed them. I hate when it destroys the homes, but it does. And it's terrible. It's terrible when it does that. But what you going to do? What you going to do when they come for you, bad boys, bad boys? So the White House moves to enact the tariffs under Section 112. After the Supreme Court struck down earlier tariffs, Trump endorsed the right-wing El Tigre, multimillionaire lawyer turned politician during his run for the presidency. Since taking office, he has joined the Shield of the Americas, an anti-cartel alliance. I bet you Trump's going to suspend the tariffs for him, because why not? He's doing everything Trump wants. He plans to forge he says he plans to forge a military alliance with the U.S. and Israel to help bolster his war on guerrillas. Get them. Put their criminals in labor camps, put them to work, and rebuild our country. Pay their debt to society. Yeah, as long as those of the not take Pinochet tours will help. There you go. The Comey-crats have been so brainwashed they don't realize they're pulling our country down a shithole. Oh, I think they know. They don't care. They don't care is the problem. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. It's official. They want to abolish ICE. The Democrats. They don't care. Democrats spent years pretending they only wanted to reform ICE. This weekend, the mask came off. The DNC's summer meeting in Austin, Texas. Party members approved two competing non-binding proposals, one calling for reforming ICE, one calling for abolishing it outright. So they just want to get rid of all border enforcement. That's what they said. That's the demon rat. That's the demon rat plan. Get rid of it all. No more ICE. No more ICE. Technically, neither measure sets official policy, but that gets hashed out at the 2028 convention. But between now and then, it's going to get worse. The DNC member introduced the abolition measure. She argued Democrats need to stop hedging and take a firmer stand. So anyone who votes for Democrats, you're voting for your country's destruction. I mean, they're counting on illegal aliens voting. That's what they want. They want to make them all citizens and go fuck you. That's right. DNC member Yvonne Reeves Chong voted against the measure, warning it would only energize one slice of the base while alienating everyone else. She says Democrats should focus on winning elections first. Yeah, lie. So she's saying, listen, you can't say this outright. You got to lie so you can win. And then once we're in power, we can do it. Yep. You know, they vote to reform and abolish ICE at the same time. And just when you think that they installed Woke 2.0 software update, someone at headquarters apparently clicked restore previous version. They approved two different measures, one for reforms and one for abolishing. They could have got reforms. They were offered reforms, but instead they blocked and filibustered everything and refused to vote for anything, and that's why they didn't get any reforms that they wanted. They refused. There would have been body cams, but they shut the government down. Remember, they didn't pay ICE. They didn't pay DHS for, 92 days? And so and then as soon as they got the money and it got restored, they go, where's the body cams? Well, fuck, you wouldn't pay for them. We didn't have them. We're wondering how the same party can simultaneously support fixing and eliminating the agency. Congratulations, you completed the first semester of advanced Democrat policy studies. They've reached the reform it until it doesn't exist stage. Please replace the transmission, also crush the car. Yeah. The abolish ICE crowd isn't joking. The measure was pushed by Louisiana DNC member Michelle Johnson, and supporters argue that ICE is broken rather than merely in need of reform. It's not. It's broken because it's not getting enough people out. Sounds like they went full DSA National Convention. Yeah, they did. The Comey-crats should be careful what they wish for. Stalin put many of his own supporters in the gulags because he could not trust them. Cognitive dissonance. That's right. ICE itself isn't some sort of ancient American institution carved in the Mount Rushmore. It was created in 2003 as part of a post 9/11 creation for Homeland Security. So abolish ICE supporters aren't necessarily saying America should have absolutely no immigration. No, that's what they're saying. They don't want immigration enforcement. They're saying ICE because that's what they think. They don't want Border Patrol. Remember when Border Patrol was doing the work? Huh? Remember? When what was his name? Not Bongino. What's the guy's name? Would it be? Oh man, the guy that they fired because they didn't like him. That was doing all the work. The big green machine was out there. Abolish ICE still means abolish ICE. Not everyone thought it was politically genius. I would strongly suggest we get to the business of winning races. Yeah. A poll release found 39% of adults approve Trump's handling of immigration, down from 49 at the beginning of the second term. AOC admits woke 1 went too far, so meet woke 2.0 that's going all the way. Bavino, that's right, Bavino, not Bongino, Bavino, yeah. Greg Bavino, yeah, great guy. Let's say I would like him run. He should be the head of DHS, Greg Bavino. So they want a slogan back. Abolish ICE isn't new. It's the same slogan they've had. Defund the police. It's the same shit. Hey, what's up, Potato Biden? Great to see you. So DNC chairman Ken Martin tried to find common ground and expand a larger point behind competing resolutions. He says it's fair. Democrats have every right to criticize ICE and detention policies and deportations. Oh yeah, they're criticizing deportation, but they still want, so they don't want any immigration enforcement. Right. Bronca had Bavino on his show a while back. Yeah, I know. Do you know how that happened? I'm the one who made that happen, Spuds. I reached out to Bavino and got him on Bronca. I did. Me. I did that. Bavino should be the head of DHS, yeah. Everyone heard that Hayden Panettiere died. Yeah, I saw that. I second the motion to have him the head of DHS. Yeah. This is just crazy. This is just crazy. So that's what they want to do. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys remember this woman here. Here she is. Hayden Panettiere, dead at 36. You've been trying to catch up on the Lindsay Clancy trial. I haven't really been paying attention to it. Wow, we are impressed, Jim. Well, you should be. I make things happen. I get shit done. Rampant illegal immigration is why I voted for Trump again. Yeah, that's right. Me too. That's what I want. I want it fixed. Once the revolution is over, revolutionaries are unneeded and unwanted. Stalin knew this, and that's why he expelled Trotsky. That's why Mao arrested the Red Guard and sent them all out of the cities and sent them into the woods. Got rid of them. That's right. Thank you for reaching out to Bavino. That was a great show. I thought it was too. I thought it was a great job. Nashville actress Hayden Panettiere died. Her representative confirmed. Circumstances surrounding death are not immediately made available. With profound sadness, we share the tragic passing of our beloved Hayden. She was an incredible light and force of nature who brought measurable joy to all who knew her. It was a great show. Thanks, Jim. Yeah, no problem. She's known for her roles in Heroes, Nashville, and Scream. That's it. She died. They don't know why. They don't know what happened. She was only 36 years old. I hope it wasn't like Slumskide or nothing like that. You know, I hope it wasn't Minecrafting. What? She had a lot of mental issues. She gave up her children. Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's terrible. She was a tortured soul. Wow. That's terrible. Rest in peace. That's all I can say. And save the cheerleader, save the world. Maybe the jab. Maybe. We will lose our country if we don't win the midterms. I agree. 100%. I agree. I agree. I don't know what else to do about it. I really don't. So we'll have to see what happens with all of this. Let's see. 1 second. I got to look for something else. Damn it. Where'd it go? Sorry. I lost it. I don't see it. Nope. All right. Well, it is what it is. So, well, I'm 3G. Good Greg from Portland. There you are. That's right. You enjoyed Heroes? I thought Heroes was pretty good. Isn't that the one where like they didn't like the season didn't get like they didn't finish it right or whatever? Well, I hope everybody had a good Sunday evening and enjoyed the show. Unfortunately, we did not hit the goal. We didn't make it. It's been a very rough month this month. I hate to say it. Like, it's been bad with the computer problems and then me getting sick. It's been very, 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 very bad month for me. But it is what it is. I thank everybody that was here. I want to please remind everybody to please hit the like button. Please subscribe if you haven't already subscribed to the channel. It really helps. Consider becoming a member or something like that. That stuff helps too. It's very important to me. We'll see everybody Monday, tomorrow, Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time at the normal time. Hopefully all week long, normal time. And I thank you all. And see you then. And remember, come back tomorrow for Jim to tell you the news.